Yo, what's up, people? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your boy. I am back in the building. What's up to everybody, man? Huh? From this morning till night. Told y'all I'll be back. Shout outs to everybody out there moving around, man. I'm saying peace and blessings to all y'all. All, every single last one of y'all. Everybody's feeling great and amazing. I know I am, baby. Give me a minute. Let me set this up real quick, y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh shit, she doing this late. It's gonna be late tonight. All right, what is what it is? Yeah. So anyway, y'all, we back. Um, welcome everybody to the No Duck Zone podcast. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. This is where it goes down at. Got my brother Underrated who will be joining me, and we'll be having some wrestling talk. Now we doing old school wrestling, right? So we did it before. The only difference is tonight is that um we're doing the Monday Night Wars. Now y'all remember growing up as a wrestling fan what that was. Monday Night Raw versus Monday Night Nitro. Y'all remember how that was. Good old days. So we're gonna talk about that and what did that do for the sport of professional wrestling. Who really came out on top at the end of all that? So let's go. All right, so for my newcomers, my regulars, everyone, welcome to the No Duck Zone podcast. Let's go. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend and tell a friend. This is where it goes down at No Duck Zone podcast. Uh, I remember, um, I guess the 90s, we would say. 92, 93, when Monday Night Raw first kicked off. And I'm like, I'm not really up on the days to see wrestling. I know wrestling will come on Saturdays and Sundays, and that was about it, right? So I wasn't really big on, okay, I'm familiar with the days and when they go. I just know, hey, I'll watch it whenever they say it's on. And Monday Night Raw comes, and it's in New York, right across the street from the Garden, the Manhattan Center. It's crazy, y'all. Crazy. Manhattan Center. And it brought a different type of energy, right? Because I think around this time is when we first started to see the 1, 2, 3 Kid, way before he was X Pop, way before. This feels what's up. You got to see guys like Tatanka, Yokozuna. It was so many guys. Crush. It's so many people we can go down the list. Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, all of them, right? And for years, Monday Night Raw ruled. For years, the WWF ruled before it even became the WWE. It ruled. I don't know. I said WWE versus WCW. It should have been WWF because they didn't become WWE until years later. Razor Ramon. Yes, Razor Ramon. Thank you, Miss Fields. So, Big Daddy Cool Diesel. So many of these guys. Legion of Doom. So many of them, right? And for years, they had ran this Monday Night Raw thing that they were doing. And I'm thinking, okay, this is cool because you got to understand when this Monday Night Raw starts, I'm no more than probably about 9, 10 years old. Now, this is how long, for probably like the last 30 something years, they've been doing this Monday Night Raw. So for 30 some years, it's been a part of my life. And then, and what was so crazy is with Monday Night Raw, you got to showcase your talent. You had some new guys that sometimes that'll pop up that you wasn't familiar with, but they got to showcase their talent, right? So the years go on, wrestling changes a little bit because some of the WWF guys start leaving and going to WCW, and vice versa. Some of the WCW guys you see come to WWF, like you've seen the Steiner brothers come to the WWF. You've seen a couple guys. Triple H comes, Stone Cold comes, The Undertaker, who was originally from WCW, when I don't know if it was called WCW at the time. Even Diesel, who came from over there. Razor Ramon came from over that way, if it was called that. But anyway, the point I'm getting to is that I guess eventually WCW felt threatened. They felt the competition. They felt it getting a little hot in the kitchen, and they needed to do something about it. Um, and I guess that's when they came with WCW, but when they came with Nitro. Now, I don't know if anybody caught on to that, but for me, it was like, oh, okay. So what is this supposed to be? What are they doing? But at the same time, I was like, okay, this is dope. Let's see where this goes because just like it was a lot of entertaining guys on WWF, it was in WCW. Um, and TNT picked it up, and it went from September 4th of 1995 to March 26th of 2001. Now the problem is they didn't have, and that's because WCW came to an end, so their run didn't go as long as it should have. Now let's look into how far WW Monday Night Raw went. I'm gonna land my plane in a minute. Just give me a second. And I'm gonna tell you where we're going. Okay. So, Monday Night Raw, 93, 33 seasons. It's been 33 years. If it's not going on 33 years, but it's been way longer. When WCW got to start, they got to start late, and I don't mean the time. I'm just far as them getting the show going. It was late, and Raw is Raw. Raw is War was from 97 to 2001. Okay, we got that part, but we want to take it back to where Monday Night Raw started. Uh, I'm gonna get that in a minute, y'all, because I thought I had the date exactly, and I didn't. But it's crazy because, all right, let's see. Doesn't really too much say it right here of when it got going. We might have to come back and check that out of when did it start. But I remember definitely between 92 and 93 that it got going. I don't even remember the month that it got started. All I know as wrestling fans, it did something different It did something different to us. And, you know, it's crazy because they were with two big networks. 93, yeah. I was trying to get the month. And keep in mind now, keep this in mind. They were with two big networks. WCW is with TNT, and Monday Night Raw is with USA Network. Those are two big networks. Two big networks. That's how far wrestling had came from, because, you know, back in the days, they wouldn't have got that. They wouldn't have got that type of attention. So to see them come from where they came from to being with these two networks, January 11th of 1993. Wow, that's crazy. That's 2 days after my 10th birthday. Damn, I'm young. So, okay, we got January 11th, and then we got what's that? February, I said. February of 95 till what, March of 2001 with Nitro. So for years, right, it was a competition thing. And then at some point, the time slots become crazy. If you remember, for any big wrestling fans, Nitro was on at 8 o'clock, like I did tonight. Monday Night Raw was on at 9 o'clock. Now you knew, okay, if you were a big wrestling fan, there wasn't too many guys saying, I'm not messing with WWF. I'm not messing with WCW. Wasn't really nobody doing that. If you were a fan and you were at home, your family was probably going to get mad at you because you were flicking that channel. And you had an hour to watch Nitro. But you knew when Raw was coming on, you had to tune into that. Because at this time, the times have changed on Raw. There's new players with some of the old players. You got D Generation X getting going. You got Rock. You got Stone Cold. I mean, it's a lot going on at this time. Mick Foley, you know, Mankind 1 minute, and then he's Dude Love. You know what I'm saying? And then he's Cactus Jack. You got the Dudley Boys that had just left ECW to come to WWF. You got the Hardys. You got Edge and Christian. It got different. Yeah, I enjoyed them times too. It got different. But when you started looking at the level of competition between both networks, it made you say, God damn. Smoke, it definitely was. You start looking at the players that was in on both sides. When you looked at WCW, you got the NWO, you got Harlem Heat still doing their thing. I mean, you got Macho Man over there. You got the Warrior coming over there. You had a lot going on. WWF had lost some of their guys to WCW. They lost a lot of guys, but it was still interesting. But let me tell you where WWF got saved. Because at one point it looked like we were going to lose. Yeah, Ravens. Yeah, Ravens, definitely. This is where it looked like WWF was going to lose. And this is why we needed to be saved. If it wasn't, in my opinion, this is my opinion, if it wasn't for D Generation X, far as Triple H and Shawn coming together to do something, and having Stone Cold and having The Rock and having them, we needed them. We needed them. And it's not to take nothing away from The Undertaker and everybody else that was, you know, a part of there that did their job. But God damn it, if there was no, you tuned in. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you like this, right? Check this out. You tuned in on Monday nights on WCW to see what the NWO was gonna do. You turned in 9 o'clock on Raw to see what G Generation X was going to do, who Stone Cold was going to give the middle finger to, who Rock was going to give the rock bottom to. You turned in for that because you knew already. And if you kept up with all the drama, you knew, okay, I got to watch it tonight. Last night he beat them in his pay-per-view. This happened at WCW's pay-per-view. I got to keep up with all this. But if it wasn't for WWE going that route, they probably would have got buried. That's my opinion. Undertaker himself too. Yeah, yeah. For a second, it got a little scary. I'm saying to myself, but I'm still a fan. Then we get the WWF. They ended up getting the Big Show, who was the giant in WCW, which that was a big surprise. We ended up getting Chris Jericho, which that was a big surprise. Chris Benoit came, Dean Malenko, all these guys, and I'm like, oh shit. These guys that you didn't think that you'll see in the WWF, you wouldn't think that you'll see them. But if you notice, something happened where it's like they were making trades. The guys you didn't think that would leave the WWF left. The guys you didn't think would leave WCW left. There was a certain guys on WW. There were certain guys. Yes, Eddie Guerrero, God rest his soul. Chris Benoit, God rest both of their souls. To get Rey Mysterio, Rey Mysterio. It was certain guys you were like, no, these are WCW big players. They're not leaving to come over here where we at. But it happened. But yeah, the ECW was the bridge between them. You can go over there and make you some money. That was the great thing about wrestling. No matter how fake y'all think it was, I'm gonna tell you what wasn't fake. What was not fake is them having to rehearse for all that and to train for all that to make sure the show go right, and they paid was not fake. The shit that they were getting paid was ridiculous. The wrestlers probably make more today, but with Rock and Stone Cold, I think Stone Cold was making like 1 million. Shit, that was a lot for a wrestler. Yeah, yeah. ECW it was something different, but as the months went on and the years go on, and then you get in WCW, you get Goldberg. Things will get starting to really get interesting, but then you get a guy like Goldberg that comes. Now you were looking at it before then. Now Goldberg comes and you like, this is freaking our Stone Cold Steve Austin on steroids. This guy Goldberg that nobody knows nothing about, that came out of nowhere, who played professional football, but still had less wrestling experience. And we like, okay, let's watch and see what this guy does. Is he as bad as Stone Cold? Let's see. This guy goes 100 and some fights undefeated, and I think lost one match to Brett, but still ended up beating the top players in the game. Hogan, I mean, he ran through people. Now we have to go to Raw because we want to see Stone Cold. And then our minds, I remember seeing this magazine. Y'all remember when they had the magazines? They had the wrestling magazine. And I remember on one side they had Goldberg, on the other side they had Stone Cold. And I remember reading that magazine and I said, oh shit. Are they trying to put this together? Because I always wanted to see a WWF versus WCW pay-per-view. When they did Invasion was mixed with a little bit of everything. It was all right. It was all right to a certain extent. It was a little animated to me. I don't like the way they did it. And a lot of guys from over in WCW didn't come to WWF. Goldberg and Sting were the two main guys we were looking to see. I wanted to see Harlem Heat come, but it didn't happen. Booker came, but I wanted to see Harlem Heat. It would have made things interesting. But there was a lot of guys who didn't come, but for whatever reason. it was an interesting time, and I remember the restaurant that they had on Times Square. Now, any of y'all that are real wrestling fans, you remember this. There was a wrestling restaurant on Times Square that everybody would go to watch the match on Monday night. Raw, that is. I started going there as a teenager. I think they put that restaurant there about 99, 2000, just around the time when Chris Jericho and Big Show and them popped up. Right. And I remember going to that restaurant because they would show Monday night and they would go live from there and show people before they actually go to the arena where they will be at. They will go live from inside the restaurant, so you were able to see yourself on camera. And I remember, I ain't gonna hold you. I remember being no more than about 17. I was probably about 16, 17, and you had to pay. Oh, shit, I don't want to say $10. What was it to get in that restaurant? I forgot exactly how much. And I used to sneak my way in there. So let me tell you how I was very good at swindling my way. I knew I couldn't get through those doors unless I paid. So I used to go use the bathroom because I was a kid, right? I would go use the bathroom. And when I used the bathroom, I used to stay in there and use the bathroom or act like I was using it. Wait a couple minutes, come on out, and then go into the restaurant. And they didn't know if I was in there or not. Were you in there? Yeah, I was in there. I just had to use the bathroom. Oh, okay. They would know. Or what I would do is other people would come down and I will come in there and shit. They would be so distracted. I would walk through the door and I would go get me a seat. And anybody remembers this restaurant in Times Square. It was a pretty decent size, and the wrestlers used to come there they would come there sometime and make an appearance, and they would sign autographs. It was a great place, but it was a great time for wrestling. And when I didn't go, I would be home, and I would say to myself, okay, and I would find myself flicking the channel back and forth. I remember one time I missed wrestling. I think I missed WCW, and I went to sleep, and I woke up and Raw was on. I said, God damn it, I don't know what happened with WCW. And at that time, it wasn't where you can go on social media and look at it on YouTube. I said, shit, now I gotta wait till next Monday. But Raw is on, okay. Because if I didn't catch one, I had to catch the other. All my real wrestling fans, smash that like button. Smash that like button. So that's what it was for me. And then when I saw Bret Hart leave and go over there, shit like that for me, it was like it was it was it was shocking to me. Like, oh God, he's over here with the ops. Be like, wait a minute, what is he doing over here? It was a great time, and not to discredit today, it was a great time to be a wrestling fan. And it's a great time today, but then it was a real great time to be a wrestling fan, man. Because you had two organizations that, even though they were competing, and they had some of the top wrestlers in the world. I mean, if we would have got a chance to see forget that invasion. That invasion pay-per-view they did back in 2001 was okay, but it wasn't good enough. I don't feel like ECW should have been included in that. And that's not to discredit them because the ECW dudes were a bunch of different type of dudes. They were different from DC. They were different from WCW and WWF together. They were different. But it's not to discredit them. But I really wanted that WWE versus WCW. And Unfortunately, even with the invasion coming, it was cool. I wasn't super hype about it. I remember um, 2003 going to Jesus Christ. What was that I went to? Think I went to SmackDown, and I think the invasion thing was still going on where a few WCW guys were in. And I remember going to see Rob Van Dam and Kane, and Brock Lesnar at the time had made his debut in the WWE, and it was crazy because when he came, it really got nasty. Um, but it was a great time. Stone Cold was still doing his thing. The Rock was still doing his thing. Then after that, he departed ways. Went and did movies. But it was a great time. When I think of WWE, right? WWF had a great lot of great tag teams. When I think about WWE, I think about the Hardys. I think about the Dudleys. I think about Edge and Christian. Three of the greatest tag teams. I think of WCW. Um, I think of the Steiner brothers. I think of Harlem Heat. Let me see. Who else? God damn it. Can't think of another one in WCW. But these are the teams that I think about that I say, yo, you know what? Them dudes were bad. Because both organizations had some bad ass teams. I'm telling you, at any time, if it would have been a WWE versus WCW pay per view, not ECW, not the invasion, just that. Do you know how crazy that would have been? Because even when they did the invasion, I don't think it was. It was okay. It was okay, but we never got to see at that time Sting and Goldberg join. By the time they joined, it was later. All right, I got you. By the time they joined, it was later. All right, hold on. All right, y'all give me 1 second. All right, gotta make sure all this goes smooth. Gotta make sure all this goes smooth. Hold on, y'all. All right, drop the link, CJ. But um, these are some of the teams I think about, or the wrestlers I think about. But both sides had, see, even seeing Hogan go to the WCW was mind blowing. To see Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, who we knew as Diesel and Razor Ramon, to see them go was jaw dropping. It was jaw dropping to see it. We have had some jaw dropping moments. If I had a segment called jaw dropping moments, you got to go on your Instagram. Um, we had jaw dropping moments where it's like, oh, I didn't see that coming. it's just, it's not like none of these guys was a star players. The ones that we were losing, a lot of them were, and still are. When they closed the doors to WCW and that happened, I remember Shane McMahon going over there and saying that, hey, WCW was his. And I'm thinking, oh shit, wait a minute. This is where things are going to get weird. Like, is he really about to do this? For some reason, I don't know what happened with that. But I know it's just as fast as they came, was just as fast as they left WWE. It seemed like WWE ended up being the last one standing. That Vince McMahon was always something different. Vince was always something different. Rather, if you agreed with how he did business or not, Vince was different. Vince is still different, still to this day. Even though his son-in-law handles things, it's still different to this day. What's going on, bro?
Yo, Clarence, shout out. Thanks for having me up, man. I
No
see
doubt, no
Pop in the
doubt, my
chat.
guy.
Shout out to Pop. I know we all been pro wrestling fans at one time or another, so I had to hop up and speak on this. So
Okay,
yeah, I hear you
yes, sir.
talking about what Attitude Era, like kind of the
Yeah, so
'90s.
we're talking about the Monday Night Wars between WWE and WCW. WCW, they were going on at 8 o'clock, and Raw, they were going on at 9 o'clock. So that's why I called it the Monday Night Wars, because that's what it was, the wars between them. Um, as a fan, for me,
Let me step in real quick before you go on. Let me step in and speak on that because it was a little different out here. Um, Now, I understand what you're saying. On the East Coast, it was 8 and 9, so you were watching one of the others, probably switching back and forth. Most likely, that's what I
yes,
was doing sometimes.
yes,
But here, if you have the satellite, you could see the WCW live at 5. It would be 5 Pacific time, and
yeah,
then Raw wouldn't be till after, so you could watch them back to back out here on the West Coast. Is my point. So I
yeah,
got I got a lot of wrestling in that day. But like I told you, I used to do it on the independent circuit out here in Cali when I was like 17 to 21, somewhere in there, for a few years. So I got some
okay,
experience in it. I mean, obviously not on that level, but I can speak to some of what goes on behind the scenes. And I was obviously a big time fan at that point. That was like into high school, started college, so that's when shit was hot for me. You got it. You got it.
No, I was gonna ask you. So at this time, what did you tune into more? What was it that? Which one of them, or was it both of them? Which one did you really look forward to looking to? Like, did you say, "Yo, I got it, yo, Monday Night Nitro is okay, but yo,
No,
Stone Cold's about to wild out on Raw. I gotta see it." Oh man, he dropped off by accident. Okay, he's gonna be back, y'all. Don't worry. Something happened. He'll be back. Dave Rich will be back. Give him a second. Because I know for me, it really was both of them. But if it would be something that would happen with the NWO, and I go, yo, I gotta see this. Something happened with Stone Cold, I gotta see it. Or the Ministry of Darkness. Remember when Undertaker had that squad? Ministry of Darkness. He had Viscera, Big Boss Man, Farouk and Bagshaw. He had a nasty squad. See, it's stuff like that that made you be entertained by it, where you were like, you know what? I gotta see it. And I think eventually Bossman, I don't know if he went to WCW. I think he did. So it was a couple of things in there that happened that made you say, this is
no,
going
my
to
my
be
fault.
interesting.
I'm out here. I got 2 dogs. I got my dog. I'm dog sitting, and anyway, yeah, I'm out here at the park. But So yeah, you were asking which one I look forward to more.
Yeah,
Uh,
which one did you look forward to more? All right, he'll be back, y'all. It happened again. Yeah. So yeah, for me, um I was just anxious to say, hey, I just want to see some great wrestling. And for me, that's what it was. I wanted to see some great wrestling. And I did. Shout outs to, Ted Turner, Vince McMahon, all the wrestlers who put their lives on the line, every night, every week. There's 365 days in a year, and probably about 200 and something of them, these guys are wrestling. And it's much appreciated. It was much appreciated because Josh Sanders, what's up? We were left with a lot of great memories that we'll never be forgetting. It will never be forgetting. It's something that just doesn't go away, you know. And when I think of just everything growing up watching, it's just stuff that can never be replaced from what we saw. If you came up at that time and you remember and you paid attention and you just wasn't a fan of a wrestler, you are a fan of wrestling. There's a difference. If you are a fan of wrestling, because that's what I was. I told you the story about how I was 8 years old. I told you the story about how I was 8 years old. Hold on, going to Madison Square Garden at 8 years old in 1991 to witness SummerSlam. Been to WrestleMania.
Wait, hold on. My
I've been
fault. How
to
old was you?
1991. I was 91. I was 8 years old. The first time
Okay.
I attended a wrestling event,
So you
SummerSlam
got 1
'91.
year on me. Okay. Hey,
Going to
my fault for dropping out, man. I'm trying to take care of these dogs.
it's
Finish
all
up your
right.
story, and then I'm gonna finish answering your question because I had a good answer.
Oh no, go ahead. So you can answer it now. I was just keeping people busy while you came back.
Okay, my fault,
Yeah,
my fault. Yeah, so
yeah,
I'm not sure where I got cut off, but to run it back, uh we didn't have NWA out here. We couldn't see a lot of WCW, so it was always WWF in the early to mid '90s. Y'all chill. And then, hey, and then my fault. Yeah, when the
yeah,
Monday Night Wars lit up, then we started getting it. Then it started becoming heated, and like I said, we could watch both back to back. Damn, Rock. We could watch
yeah.
both back to back out here on the West Coast. But my answer, Rock. I got a puppy. I'm sorry, homie. I'm fucking up the
It's all right.
broadcast. But for the early matches, I would watch WCW because I like the cruiserweight action. They used to say when I was doing my thing, because I'm a smaller dude, they used to say I was going to be the next Rey Mysterio, but that didn't pan out. So early, like the wrestling action, early WCW, like all the way from cruiserweights to like the Benoits to the Guerreros, a little bit bigger dudes, even up to like a DDP. I used to like Canyon too, but then for the main event, it was all about WWE. Hey, for the main event, Rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I got dropped. My fault. My fault. Yeah, because they had the better storylines and the better characters at the top. How you feel about it? Let me get your answer.
Um,
All right, Rock.
I mean, I grew up a nerd when it came to boxing. I mean,
Okay.
excuse me, wrestling. Excuse me, wrestling. I got boxing on my mind because I'm sitting here looking at something on my phone. Apologies. You couldn't tell me that wrestling was fake. I didn't want to hear your opinion on it. You couldn't tell me nothing. Straight up. You really couldn't. It wasn't until when I got older I had to realize what it was. But I also had to realize what wasn't fake about the business was that out of 365 days a year, 200 and something of them, these guys are putting their life on the line.
Right.
And they have to rehearse for this. They're not just going out doing this, but even in the mix of rehearsing, something could go wrong. There's wrestlers that is damaged today from this sport. That's damaged. And that's the
Oh,
reason why you see that they got these academies, they got these wrestling schools that you got to go to. Why do you think you have to go there? For the people who think it's so fake. If it's so fake, go attend one of those schools and see for yourself. You have to
okay,
learn
okay.
how to.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Perfect time for me to step in. Yes, I had to go to school. I didn't just step out here and do this shit. I was
Yes.
professionally trained, even though I was at a young age. We had the athleticism. It was like me and two of my homies used to go
Yeah.
up to Marysville up here, about an hour north of Sacramento, out here in California, and that's where we got
Okay.
trained by this dude named Schizo. Shout out Schizo, man. He taught us a lot, but yeah, man, it's no joke. And you're right. You're always going to be bumped and bruised. You're never going to be. It's almost like being I don't want to say a real athlete, but in a sense, you know what I'm saying? Because you're always going to have bumps and bruises. Never be 100% for the majority of your career. So and that's real. And these dudes are on the road constantly. I didn't do it at that level. I would have like, I don't know, 4 shows a month at the most. So yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah.
The professionals,
Because you got to learn how to take bumps. You got
right?
to. It's certain things you're going to have to learn. And I didn't. Let me tell you something. The first time they showed it, I remember what was it on MTV when Triple H was doing it, and I realized then, like, oh
That
shit.
first tough enough, that first tough enough. Yeah,
That
that's about the
first
time I
time,
was in it. Yeah.
I
In
said,
fact, I was in it.
and our friend of mine that I knew at the time, who was about 5 years older than me, I was about 19 when they did that tough enough. And he was about 5 years older than. He told me, he
Okay.
said, "Yo, I'm going out for it." I
All right.
said, "You out of your?" I said, "You're out of your fucking mind," because he thought and at this time he wasn't a big guy. He was like 6'1", 215. But he was a strong dude in the neighborhood. I'm not gonna lie, for 215, the dude was strong as shit. And he said, "I'm going out for it." And I didn't see him. He went away, so I'm thinking, okay, everything is going well. He'll come back and he'll give us some great news. Let me tell you something. See, he comes back limping. He's hurt. Like, man, they kicked my ass in there. That wrestling shit ain't what you think it is. I said, well,
Exactly.
what happened? He said, first of all, I didn't make it. I didn't make it. I went in there trying to flex my muscles and pump my chest out. And I'm thinking, I can get these guys. And I'm in there wrestling with dudes that they've been doing this shit.
Hmm.
They've been doing it. Guess who they had him in there? What's the dude? What's it? Bob Holly. Whatever. What's the dude's name,
Bob
man?
Holly. Yeah, Hardcore Holly.
Okay. How he had to get in there with him.
All right.
He
Yeah, he's
said
stiff,
that
man. He worked
strong.
real stiff. They
He
call it
said
working snug, man. You gonna feel it. He gonna lay
he
it in to
said
make it look good. Yeah, yeah.
he said that strong ass country dude just threw my ass.
Real
And
shit.
he said he cursed him out. He said he cursed him out because he said, man, this wrestling shit ain't a game. You're not about to embarrass the sport that I bleed for. He said, he had a conversation with him like, man, this is not for you.
Yeah.
And and that's the part about it that people don't understand. That's the part that's not fake. When they sit there and tell you that shit, you think they're telling you that because the cameras is on you. They telling you something real. There's people who have died behind this sport
Hmm.
because the pain was so bad. Where when they're done and they finally are not wrestling anymore, or something happens to them, now they have to get all these medications to try to ease the pain. They done went through 100 surgeries. They done broke bones. tore their ACL,
A lot of
and you still,
concussions.
yeah, and you still looking them in the eye and telling them, well, yeah, I don't care about all that. It's still fake. Oh,
Right.
okay, I understand. It's wrestling was never meant for guys to go out there and kill each other. But sometimes in the mix of things happen. I know you've heard about real fights happening in the back of the dressing room. Things happen. There's a lot of guys who really don't like each other. That when they see each other, we all can go out one night and have beers together, and the next night I'm gonna kill you.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
just something.
many stories
Many,
of backstage violence and shit. I've seen it
yeah.
myself on a small level, but yeah, of these big stars, they can get into it.
Let me ask you
It's a lot of
something.
ego, man. It's a lot of testosterone going on. You wouldn't
What
believe what goes on back there, and a lot of
what was it
anabolic
about?
activities as well.
What was it about wrestling that made you want to be a part of it? And do you think if you would have had that type of talent, you would have went as far as you could with it?
Okay, let me answer it like this. What was it? Two-part question. What was it that want me to initially get be a part of it?
Yeah.
Man, I was a teenager. I loved it back in the '80s. Let me go back there. So I always had a love for wrestling. Uh, one older brother, three older stepbrothers, and we was all watching wrestling in the '80s and early '90s. So that's when I first loved it, right? And then my favorite was always Shawn Michaels.
Mm.
Even back to the Rockers. I'm gonna bring it back to the '80s to
Yeah.
the Rockers. I was like, hell yeah! I mean, these young dudes high flying, they get it excited, and I was all about it. And then
Yeah.
shit. Okay, so fast forward to when I'm a teenager, and backyard wrestling started becoming a thing. All on the internet. Uh, these white boys was doing their thing, so me and my homies decided to get together. Started a similar way in the backyard, right?
Yeah.
Little bullshit. We had a little camcorder videotape it. All right, cool. That's cute. Um, about a year later, we meet up with this Mexican dude who do lucha libre in the same town, here in Northern Cali, and he had a little ring. uh, and so we started working for him, putting on shows with him at like the church, community centers, shit like that. Cool, that went cool. Then we like, all right, we about 16 now. Let's step our game up, and we welded a ring together, like a full size ring, ourselves. Shout out to my
Yeah.
homie Brett. He got flash burn in his eyes because he wasn't using the goddamn, I forget what you call it, but he was welding without the mask, and yeah, he got flash burn. He was out of school for like a week. We welded our own ring together, right? And then we start putting on the shows and getting bookings at the community centers and shit. And then putting that more professional looking footage on the internet. So then that's when we tapped in with the dudes up in Marysville, saw our shit and like, hey, y'all kids are decent. They was like 20, so like we like 16, they was like 20 at the time, and then they had the older dude, the real professional, he's like 25 schizo, who actually trained us. So man, put a bow on it because I'm just rambling now. Just having the athleticism to do it and the popularity of it, shit was just lit at that point. So that's why I wanted to get into it. And I'm sorry, I forgot your second part of your question.
Was so the second part was, do you think you would have went through with it?
Oh,
Like,
oh,
yeah.
okay. So I wouldn't say, and maybe it might be partially ego, and I wouldn't doubt it. But I think I was pretty fucking good, man. I still got footage. Well, my homies got the footage. I don't got it no more. But I was pretty decent, homie, especially for the level we was at. So 19, if I would have just kept with it by 25, I could have been, in one of these major promotions. But I got distracted with, women and illicit substances, shall we say. I didn't
Yeah.
have the focus to put it through. I wouldn't say it was talent, but if I would have had the focus to put on a little more size and lay off the women and the drugs, then I would have been there. I think I would have had a decent shot at least.
Yeah, because what people would, I think another part that people don't know is that once you're in, you're on that road a
Yeah,
lot.
if you were a full time independent wrestler, you really got no other option because you can't even. I don't know if y'all seen the movie The Wrestler, but that's kind of real because he was trying
Yeah,
to balance that little deli job, with going out on the road, and maybe it's not in the town you in, so it's kind of hard. So yeah, once you full time independent, like the homie Schizo was at 25, when that's your job and you ain't just fucking around with it on the weekends like I was as a teenager, then yeah, you locked in and you want to see it all the way through. It would take a lot of dedication, a lot of pain tolerance, let me say this: I got nothing but love and respect for boxers. Obviously, that's a legit sport and harder. But in my opinion, the only thing harder than getting in the ring and getting your ass whooped against your will is getting in the ring and letting somebody whoop your ass because you know it's going to hurt. You know you're going down for the count, and it takes a lot of discipline in your mind to just let that go. You know, and give you trust another person with your body is really what you're doing. So that's why I like to work mostly with my close friends because I know we're looking out for each other. But it's a lot of trust, a lot of risk, man, and it's
But
tough,
people don't
just
understand that.
mentally and physically.
People don't understand that part.
Yeah.
People don't. Let me tell you the part that people don't understand about that, right? You see how you just said you trust somebody with your body?
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's been stories told that wrestlers have went out there, okay, man, you know what me and you are gonna do. Let's go out there and let's have a great show and let's do what we do. Yeah, let's put on a show for the fans. You have a guy that goes out there, and for some reason, I don't know if the lights are too bright or what it is, goes out there and does the fucking total opposite of what he's supposed to do. It starts beating the shit out of you, and you like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. There's wrestlers that actually said, I've got hit for real.
Oh yeah.
I've got a busted mouth, and this guy's hitting me for real. Undertaker said that happened with him in the Big Show. And he said, at some point, I had to tell a guy to lighten up. The hell are you doing? He's giving me chops in the chest, and that's cool. But he's like, you're trying to knock me to another planet. And you like you said, you're trusting somebody. Why? Well, why should you have to trust somebody? Wrestling's fake. Okay, y'all still missing the part that shit can get real. Somebody could actually get hurt. So wrestling is not all that fake, and this is the reason. And I had the conversation with my wife. Me and her talk about this all the time. How you got to rehearse for that shit. You got to. Thank you, baby. You got to go to school for that. Why okay. Why do you think that why do you think they have these camps that you have to go to? If wrestling was that simple, there'd be no such thing as a school. They'll just
Right.
tell you, hey, be brolic and walk your ass in here and know how to wrestle. They did it for a reason to show you, right? They're not trying to convince people that it's real. They're trying to let you know that this is what it takes. And if you just so happen to go out there and fuck up, number one, if you can't take a bump, if you don't know how to body slam somebody the right way, that's another thing I know you're seeing. I know you're seeing this, that people body slam motherfuckers backwards. You don't even know how to body slam somebody. And you got the audacity to want to be a wrestler?
Right. That's the most basic thing. Okay, so wrestling school 101, first day bump, like you said. I'm glad you said that. You're gonna learn to take a flat back bump. Okay, and that might be all you learn on the first day for real. On the humble, they might put you through 2 or 3 days of that just to show you that this is the most vital skill you're gonna need throughout the whole time you're doing this. Okay, and now
Yeah.
you're talking about people really getting hurt. You said Big Show was laying in chops, but more often than not, shit like that is gonna be a punch. That's the most common thing, where a nigga will lay it in
Yes.
too stiff. They call it throwing a potato, and there's two ways to handle that. Either you can handle it professional, like well, they both consider professional, but one a little more seasoned than the other, like Undertaker, and say, "Hey, lighten up," or you give them what they call a receipt, and you just do the same shit back to them, and they say, "Oh, well, shit. If I don't want to get my ass lit up in here, I better lighten up." It's just like a subconscious, not subconscious, but like subliminal message. You feel me? Uh, you don't have to vocalize it. So yeah, man, this keep going.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this discussion, man. Hey,
Yeah.
Pop, I see you down in the chat. If you want to hop up, I know you love this wrestling shit. Let's go.
All right, Smoke. So, yeah, so it gets real like that, man, where, we've watched guys, and you know what? I'm gonna be real with you. If it wasn't for the schools and me seeing any of that, I would just think that these guys were just going out there doing it. I would have never thought a school
Couldn't be.
exists.
Couldn't be a bigger misconception, man. I used to want to go to
Yeah,
Shawn Michaels school, man, because like I said, my favorite. But yeah,
yeah,
I broke my
yeah.
heart when he retired in '98. When Mike Tyson, my favorite boxer of all time, counted down Shawn Michaels, my favorite wrestler of all time, my heart just shattered. But no,
Yeah.
no, no, real shit. Okay,
Um,
so I'm glad you know about the schools, but no, it ain't no way you can go out there and not kill somebody doing the shit they do unless you're well trained. So I want to get rid of that misconception. That's complete bullshit. But I'm
yeah.
glad you know
No,
now.
hey, Smoke, look in your Instagram. Yeah, but and this is what I need all the young talented players that's coming up that's saying, "Hey, I can do it." Cuz I love to see people go and do it. Everybody can't pick up a football. Everybody's not going to be an NBA player.
Right.
Everybody's not going to be a rapper. You understand? So,
Oh yeah.
I love to see it. But the problem is you got a lot of these idiots who are walking in here with these cocky attitudes that think they can tell the guys who's been doing this 30 years and plus how this works. You have got to be out of your fucking mind. You can't do that. You're not going to tell um, the Dudley Boys or Booker T or Undertaker or any of these guys that, like I said, that has been doing it since we were in Pampers. Some of these guys have been doing it before we got in Pampers.
Hmm.
They'll tell you stories about how they was on the road. They had no money to get to where they were going. Stone Cold told you he had to call his mother and ask for a few dollars just to make it. Not so much to the event, but just to eat.
Right, right, man. I forget
What
exactly
you
what he
think
said he was
about that?
eating, but he told a crazy story about eating, I don't know, peanuts. It was some bullshit. It was like bare minimum. I can't even understand how he maintained his physique and kept working out and stayed healthy and on the road. But yeah, when Steve Austin,
But
and I had a newfound respect. Let me say this, and niggas gonna hate, but I got a newfound respect for Steve Austin uh, after I went back and watched his WCW shit because after he got injured by Owen Hart in '97, you know, his he had to change his style and it was more brawling, more punching and that type of style. The crowd loved it. I mean, he got him over, so shout
He
out
was
to him.
way more
But you know,
technical
from a
before
purist
that neck
standpoint, being a
injury.
wrestler myself, I like seeing all the shit he used to be able to do before he got that neck injury. But yeah, man, he grinded his way out. He definitely worked. He definitely earned his shit. I'm gonna say that.
He was
yeah,
way more technical before that neck injury.
Yo, Pop.
Yeah,
yeah, he was.
way
Yeah, he
more.
was. He definitely was.
And when you were talking about Shawn Michaels, like when he left, like man, if you went back and looked at it and did like all of the research now, you know why he had to leave.
Oh yeah, of course we know he had to leave.
Yo,
Michaels
I
just
can't hear shit. I'm gonna drop out one more time, but I'll be right back. Hold up.
okay. Michaels had a drug addiction. He had a lot going on. Triple
I,
H was
no,
just telling the story the other day, but I seen the whole thing to it about him. He had a lot going on, and he
I,
ended up changing. He ended up changing his life. He ended up finding God, and which is beautiful. I don't judge no man on it. But it lets you know that these wrestlers do not have a fake life.
no, they probably have the worst life.
Because
Back
to be
then,
honest with you,
like what I'm saying, like especially like
even
if you wanted to be the guy, yeah, you 2, 3 marriages, 5, 6 kids by 3 different women. Like,
how
yeah,
about something? How about this? How about your family leave you and not even be there because you're not home like that?
you don't miss it till it's gone.
You're not
You
home
go
like
from
that because
what
you have to be on
300.
the road, like my brother C was saying. You got to be if you're in that position, you got to be on the motherfucking road.
Over 300 plus days.
So can you imagine having a baby right now? Your lady goes in tonight, but you can't be there. You're somewhere in Europe, in Japan. You're in North Carolina, okay? And or you're in Vegas. You're in Seattle. And you know what
You
I'm
can,
saying? Or
you
you're
can
in a whole different, it's different. So
if you're close enough, you can fly there, see the baby, hold it, and you got to
for a
be there that
second, and
night.
then it's you can hold it for a second, it's back on
Yep,
the road.
yep. You got to get right back on the plane. Event's gonna send a jet for you.
So what people need to understand is this, right? Wrestling was never meant, and I repeat, and I'm going to keep saying this because people need to understand this. Wrestling was never meant to be real, but shit gets real. Their lives are real. What they go through is real. From them getting injured, because you can rehearse what you're gonna do. Hey, listen, this is what we're gonna do tonight.
One
You
slip
can do
up,
that, and something still goes wrong when you go out there.
one slip up, one you too sweaty, or you got tired, or you just slipped, and a dude could be out 6 months.
Stone Cold said, I remember he said it, I forgot who he was talking to. You know that show he got, he was saying, you know how many surgeries I went through?
Yeah, these dudes go through. Man, listen, man. Like when it comes to wrestling, like how you want to play wrestling, whatever you want to say, it's
Yeah.
not fit, bro. Them dudes, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, these dudes get them dudes. Oh man, he's slamming them, but he's not slamming them hard. Yeah, but that's plywood underneath there, bro. That's
It's
plywood.
not. It's not mental. This is
Oh,
the reason why they make you. This is the reason why
You know
they
what I'm
have.
saying? That's plywood
Listen,
underneath there,
but
bro. Like,
this is the but this is the reason why they have these people going to school to learn this. And half of them don't. They think it's easy. I want to be a wrestler. I want to be a wrestler, and there's nothing wrong with going to the school to learn it. But half of them can't even get a damn body slam correct. But then sit there and
yeah,
want to argue with the person that has 35 years plus as a wrestler, and you trying to tell him how it's done? Are you fucking kidding me?
oh, you talking about that new show with them, right?
I'm just talking about period. You can't tell these guys. Who the fuck is going to tell Michael Jordan how to dunk? You going to argue with him? Are you kidding me?
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, though. They don't have. They do like nobody's gonna disrespect the Undertaker on certain things. But like these new guys, when I'm watching that joint, it's the same thing what you talking about. I don't even know if you watched it, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah. I've glanced at it. I've glanced at
I'm
it.
saying it's basically the same thing that you talking about. Like
Yeah,
that dude can't say nothing to Bubba Ray. But I went to go check the comments, and you got Cornball talking about Bubba Ray wasn't this, he wasn't that. Like what the fuck is you talking about, bro? He went from the stuttering dude to busting niggas ass on the mic. And it
let me
takes
tell you something.
light work is different too, man. Like this wrestling shit is
They got to
let's talk
check.
about it.
First of all, they got to check his resume, right? Before
bro,
they got to check
it's like a nigga
before.
in the street. It's like in the street, like what? You better check my resume. I don't play
Let me
this.
tell you something.
You know what I'm
Let me
saying?
tell you
17
something.
times in the box.
When Bubba Ray and D-Von came to the WWF, first of all, a lot of people were like, "All right, make this make sense. These dudes don't belong here." This is what some people were thinking.
A
How are these
lot, a
dudes
lot.
gonna match up? How are these dudes gonna match up to what Edge and Christian was doing? Because remember, you got to remember Edge, Christian, and the Hardy Boys is on
Yeah, the
fire.
Hardy Boys. It was a
They
couple
on
of like
fire.
underling tag teams in there that was like brewing, but
And
they
Bubba Ray
wanted the
said,
Dudley Boys in there.
"Shit, we got to be a part of this tables, ladders, and chairs. We got to be a part of this. We'll be just as great as them." So, like he said, we had to talk to Vince, and I'm glad that they did because all three of them teams together.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
Here's the thing about Vince, what
Yeah.
people don't know. I don't know if you've seen one of the episodes of the Dark Joint of Wrestling.
Yes.
You know Vince took the Road Warriors finish in a bar.
Yeah.
Yes, I do know that
Yeah.
story.
In
Talking
a
about Dark Side of the
bar,
Ring,
bro. The owner takes come on, man.
the Doomsday
So
Device.
these wrestlers that's like, and then he jumps up and he's have more drinks, like, yeah. Like what? The owner's a
well,
lunatic.
check it
In
out.
a
Check it out.
suit.
When I think that was in the Road Warriors, LOD's first run in WWF, like in '92, when he
Yeah.
did that. But that just
Yeah.
lets you know that he always wanted to be a performer, and that's why eventually got his ass in the ring. So it was always in him.
But bro, in a bar, that's That's Floyd.
No, I know
What
it
the
is
fuck,
insane.
man?
I wouldn't. I ain't condoning it. No, I'm saying it
In a
is insane. It
bar,
is fucked up.
bro. Come on, man. A bar, bro. Like that's just like that's why like now the way I see that they got it moving, like Triple H has made it so where they don't gotta be on the road so much.
Well,
Okay.
that NXT that they got right now,
Mhm.
I love it. And a couple weeks ago, no, matter of fact, last month on the 15th. No, matter of fact, it was before the 15th. NXT was in New York at the Garden, right?
That's their
Now,
home.
I had just came from a press conference for a fight that was getting ready to happen in New York.
Yeah.
Something was like, just walk. One thing about New York, right?
Just walk.
You can just be walking, right? You
You
don't
can
know
just be
what the fuck
walking,
you
bro. You
see.
can just be
You don't know
walking,
what
my
you
G.
see. You can see anything walk in New York, any celebrity. So I'm walking and I get by the Garden. I see the WWE truck. I said, oh shit, they're in town. So me, I always step out this comfortability that I'm trying to make my channel more than just about boxing.
Say the
So I'm
word.
like,
Say the word, Mac.
so
Diversity.
so exactly. So I'm like, all right, you know what? This would be a good chance. This would be a good time to get these wrestlers on camera while I'm standing here. Just do it. Even if you don't know who they are, just do it. Tell me why I get to the Garden. I'm on the side. We waiting for the wrestlers to come. The bus pulls up. These are some big ass dudes. I'm not gonna lie. These dudes look like walking buildings.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
They look like walking buildings. I don't know what the hell they eating for a living, but Jesus Christ. But
They
Shawn
gotta hit
Michaels,
every gym, and whenever they got a chance, they gotta hit the
dog,
gym.
check this out. Shawn Michaels gets off the bus. I lose my rabid ass fucking mind.
Oh, you didn't know? Oh, my
I
fault. You
lose
ain't
my
know.
listen. I'm not the type that fan out. Shawn Michaels got off that bus. I
Nah,
lost
that's
my
one of us.
rabid ass mind
Nah, that's one of us. That's our childhood. We was little
because I'm
kids.
like, this is a
You was a little
dude I
kid, Mac,
watched.
watching him. I ain't gonna judge you on that. You was a
I
little
said,
kid watching
listen.
him.
I said, this is a dude I have watched for years.
Doing
So
backflips
Right.
off of this shit.
I go HBK, right? Yelling. Turn around. What's up, brother?
He
I said,
fought
oh
with
shit. The motherfucker spoke to me. The motherfucker
yo,
spoke.
yo.
It
Oh,
I
just
can't
felt.
front. I wish I had that. I wish
Good.
I had that memory myself. Let me chime in with a quick story of my own. So I've been to
Yeah.
a lot of shows, obviously over the years. House shows, Raw tapings, NXT, and I went to that infamous WWE pay-per-view, that Hell in a Cell. I want to say
Yes.
2016 they had here in Sacramento. I was there at Golden
Yeah.
One Center right after they put that up. Yeah, that was ugly. But let me say this. No, man, I wish I had. I never even seen him in person. Like I said, I was upset because I was 14 when he took that early retirement, and by the time he came
Yeah.
back, I was kind of out of the game. So I never seen him in person. But you remember when Edge first came out, he used to come down through the crowd.
Yes.
Okay, we was at
Epic.
a UC Davis show. I want
the
to say
blue.
spring of '98, and just by happenstance, he came down. We had aisle seats, so I got the Pat Edge on the back, and that was dope.
That's what's
Yeah.
up. That's
Yeah.
always
It was a great moment. But while I'm there, I'm getting all this content. I said, you know what? I'm gonna use this and put this on my channel. So this one dude gets off. I forgot what they called him. All the fans knew who this dude was. This dude gets off the bus, and
was it Swerve?
he looks
Was it,
like a bus.
was it a black dude
It was a black dude.
with dreads?
Yes,
Was it Swerve?
I think it was, but he looked like a damn bus. Like this dude looked like he should have been on somebody's football field. I said, Jesus Christ!
Did
And
he?
he went to give me a 5, and I was like, this is not even fair.
Is it Swerve? Or is it Swerve? Is it Swerve or another one? But both of them dudes
He
look
had,
like they
listen,
look
he
like
had
Booker
dreads.
T. They look like Booker
He,
T 2.0.
he, this dude had dreads. He had his glasses on. He had a suit on. But you could tell by just looking at his shoulders, even with him having his jacket on. I was like, man, if this dude grab you, it's good night. It's
Yeah,
over
it's
for
a
you.
couple dudes. Yeah, it's a couple dudes.
But then the girls started getting off. Some of these girls, right, and a lot of these girls are like 5'3", 5'4", 5'5", but they're so athletic that it's crazy. Because I started looking at some of their calves, and I was like, nah, baby girl, different. I'm not with it. I'm good. Nah, I'm
Here's
good.
the thing, though. Here's the thing with that with Triple H is doing and Shawn Michaels is that they let you use TNA. Like TNA gets to pop over there on NXT too. So
Yes,
NXT
yes.
is its own entity where you have two companies bouncing back and forth. So SmackDown and Raw already competing against each other. So it's hard for anybody else to like kind of fuck with them right now. That's why I love it.
I
Like
like
right
it. You know
now.
what? I like it because back in their days, you didn't have that.
Yeah, Vince
There
wasn't
was no
allowed
other.
that.
There was no other wrestling league. I mean, far as like that to go to. So before you can make it to the big stage, you got to make it through that.
Yeah,
Now,
where
you
it's
never know what it feels like to perform in front of 30,000, 50,000 people. Sometimes the lights are too bright, and you like, shit.
that's
How many people's
absolutely
out there? Damn it.
Hey,
woo.
Clarence.
We talk
Clarence,
Yes,
about
sir.
the
500
boxing.
people. Hey, when you were a teenager, 500 people is very, and you out there in your underwear, 500 people is intimidating. I can't imagine.
Oh man. Hey,
Yo,
listen, I take my
yeah,
hat off to you, bro. I take my hat off to you because I remember playing varsity. Excuse me, I remember playing JV basketball in my school, and I remember the first game. I'm used to playing in front of people, but playing in the park is different from when you're actually in the school
playing in the
Hmm.
and
gym.
you have anywhere from 350 to 400 people show up, and I'm like, shit.
A lot of people
Yeah,
you're gonna
man.
see in school tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah,
Folks, you know.
and you
Exactly.
want to do your best. You want to do your best because but shit. So I can only imagine what college people go through and what the NBA go through because it's different. But wrestling, to me, it's a little different because the people actually bring their asses outside. They can sell out in places that a lot of people that some R&B and rap artists can't sell at.
True.
Mm,
That shit is crazy. How could you go
it
to a
is.
place that has 30,665 people? That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And
It's
still
a
have to
place
go
for us
out
to
there.
win.
You still have to go out there and perform your best.
Word.
Right.
That
Yeah,
shit
man.
is crazy.
I can't tell y'all how nervous I was. I mean, if I was an adult, granted, I would have been a little cooler, but oh, that was nerve wracking, homie. And yeah, you trying to
Yeah.
remember all your spots. You trying to remember the match, my nigga, and you know, a lot of times you got to call it in the ring, but you're gonna get your shit in. That's what they call getting your
And,
shit in when you're gonna get all your special moves off, you know, and shine, get your
and
shine
you know
on.
what's so
So
crazy? Something don't
what's
go
up?
right. Triple H gonna be on your ass.
Word.
Right.
He gonna be
Yep.
on your ass about it because I seen him bark on some people like, don't ever go out there and do that. That wasn't part of the plan. And that's what people don't. You have to stick to the plan. If you just going out there doing whatever the fuck you want to do because you got caught in the moment, there's a good chance you could. And I want you to back me up on this, Rich.
I will.
Why do
I'm just
people
waiting.
think? Why do people think that wrestling is that fake where you can't get your walking papers? You can get your walking papers.
Right. It was like,
You
oh,
know how
it
many
was just a
people?
show. Yo, people,
You know,
not
you
to
know how
cut you
many
off.
people? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, people really think they can get away with anything. 'Cause, oh, it's just we knew it was a show, so it should be all good. Nah, and there's a term for what you're talking about. They call it going into business for yourself. When you're not
Word.
concerned about getting the angle over or the whole
Yeah,
promotion over, you just concerned about looking like you the shit, and that's the quickest way to get your water cut off. So I'm glad you brought
so
that up. Going into
when my
business for
friend,
Hold
yourself.
on,
when my
let me
friend
say something real quick.
when my friend did the tough enough, this is what he faced. So when he
Yeah.
come back home and he's limping, and this is another thing I didn't mention to you, because he's light skinned, he's real light, right? And
Yeah.
he went to show me his back.
Bruised like a motherfucker.
His damn back looked like 5 people whooped his ass.
Homie running the business for himself. That's
But
He did.
he wasn't good enough to be in the business because he wanted to do what he wanted to do.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No. That is the formula for
Yeah,
failure. You got to put other people
bro.
over all the time. When you're coming up, you got to put them over. I'm sorry, I'm using all these fucking these
No.
terms. I mean,
we know what they mean though, bro. Like you gotta put them over, bro. It's not your time to win and look great and to the crowd and be on the no. You gotta put them over. It's not your turn.
Let me tell you something. For what they paying wrestlers today, I'm doing my job.
I'm doing my job, bro.
What they paying them today, they're making a lot of. Not saying, listen. Back in the Attitude Era, if you wasn't Stone Cold or The Rock, it was quiet. It was quiet. Because Stone Cold came in there. Stone Cold came in there with that zero.
I remember there's a few of them, like Stone Cold, The Rock, Taker.
Well, Stone Cold,
Triple H, and then like
Stone
after
Cold
that, it trickles down.
Stone Cold was making $1 million, and The Rock wanted $2 million.
But I remember. I know what you're saying when The Rock said that. But that ended up to them making up like during the year they would make like $18 million a year.
Yeah.
When it comes to
all the merch,
$1 million,
all the merch, baby.
You pay him $1 million a month.
Do y'all remember what Bret Hart was offered going to WCW? What they offered him over there?
2.8.
Man, listen.
I should know that. That's too much.
Listen, I wasn't even mad at
that, bro. Because niggas, bro, like the comedians and shit. Like y'all remember that Roddy Piper shit when Roddy Piper had the school homie?
Yeah.
It's like nah, bro. Like when he smacked the dude and they banned him, but like nah, bro, this shit is not fake, bro. Like on some like y'all see the heat between the new chick Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair.
Yeah,
see that
heat? I mean, I heard about it. I have not been watching a couple weeks, but I heard about Tiffany Time versus Charlotte Flair.
She talked about it. She talked about it in the interview. She talked about it. But this is
y'all school me on it real quick. What is the beef?
But this shows you that.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead, Matt.
You can have issues with your coworker. It can happen. No matter how much money you getting, you can have an issue with your coworker. It might sound crazy, but it is what it is. But hey, go ahead, Smoke. Go ahead.
All right. So I seen a clip where Becky Lynch was like, "Everything is good with Charlotte Flair until you match her."
Yes.
And the crowd be behind you. So,
in terms of that, okay.
In terms of that, right?
She can't.
Hold on. So, right now, the new chick, Tiffany Stratton, she's the new hot chick. She's basically Charlotte Flair 2.0, but Charlotte's not ready to let go. So, Charlotte is fucking up the promos, doing shit she ain't supposed to, and taking liberties. But Tiffany Stratton has something for her ass this last time. She said, when I beat you, inside the ring, it's just gonna be like outside the ring. You're gonna be all alone. And what's the record on that? 0-3 on your marriages? And she dropped the mic and walked away.
God damn.
So
fuck with a soul like ether. Fuck with a soul like ether.
You know what I'm saying? Bro, if you want to go to business for yourself and then they give me the green light, it's like you tried to be like, oh, homies in my DMs. Hold on, bitch. They like the crowd wasn't trying to hear it. She got the most heat. Like it's not like she's definitely gonna. If she wins, she's fired.
Okay. No, I don't think she'll take it that far. She just, it's just professional pride because she was the one, and she was like, I'm gonna give her a props. I mean, I'm not attracted to her, but she elevated women's wrestling to another level when she was doing her thing. I feel it. Okay, and yeah, and it's just everyone got to pass the torch. I feel that. Hold on, let me say this. I haven't seen it.
Becky Lynch.
I haven't seen it.
Bro,
Yeah.
you ain't got to see it, bro. What I'm telling you is Charlotte Flair in the last few interviews has not been going like, you know what I'm saying? Because and they know they just can't get rid of her because the match is already signed sealed for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So
Right. So
Charlotte has been going into business for herself for the last month and a half.
I just want to say they call it a shoot. When you start to go real, you're speaking that real shit instead of the script. That's a shoot.
But what happens when the newcomer that you're supposed to be putting over doesn't know? Like she's like they're like, well, she like what the fuck? And then after a while, it's like, hold on, she ain't just doing this shit for like no, this is personal. She's cutting me off.
It's not the angle. This is a real life heat, like you said.
Yeah.
That's real backstage heat.
After a while, like this shit was just a few days ago. Tiffany Stratton hit her with the what are you outside the ring? 0-3 in marriages because you've been divorced 3 times. Dropped the mic, rolled out the ring, held the belt up. Crowd went wild.
See, I don't know.
Wait. Charlotte tried to talk. The crowd was like, "We don't give a fuck, Charlotte." That's what I'm telling you. Though. Like the 30,000 people was like, "Charlotte, we don't give a fuck." She dropped the mic on you on some Cat Williams shit. You have been divorced 3 times, bitch. That's what I'm telling you. Like that's where she pushed Tiffany. The strategist chick, who by the way is fine in the motherfucker, and she got a better body than you too, Charlotte. And she jumping off like, bro, she doing moonsaults off the damn off the top ring post to the floor. Like she got no fear.
That's no joke.
She
Let me tell you personally, that is no joke.
She doing everything she doing everything Charlotte ever did, but she looked better.
Yeah.
Okay, of course she's younger. She in her 20s. Charlotte older than me. Shit, I'm 41. Charlotte Flair older than me.
What I'm telling you is, when Charlotte was that age, she still looked better.
No, you're right.
That's what I'm saying.
And then Charlotte went and got the surgery. She had the plastic surgery to try to stay in the game.
So Becky Lynch knows the game. Trish Stratus knew the game. What's her damn name? The one that was with Matt Hardy and them, and then went to Edge. Lita knew the game. All the greats that done, like, come on, man. They all knew the game to pass it on. Even China, like, come on, man. You just can't go into business for yourself. Not at this level.
No, definitely not. I'm just curious what and I'm sure it was justified because I've been hearing about this shit for weeks. But what did Charlotte say to the Tiffy time to get her that pissed off?
Cutting her off cutting her promos off when she's like, you know what I'm saying? Like just going off script and going into business for herself. You feel me? And then after a while, like you start touching on personal topics that this wasn't on here. Like, so okay, if you want to do that, then this is where we're gonna go. So if she
can't come back from that marriage line for a woman. That's everything. If you gonna get a nigga to hold you down, and what is it? What is it?
You feel me? Like
I guess she her pops, man. She a Rolling Stone.
She got more heat than Dominic Mysterio. Easy. Easy. Just to let you know, she got more heat.
Got you. What's going on with speaking of Dominic? I dropped out for a few months. What's going on with the old girl, the buff girl? He was the mommy. What's her name?
She's in a three-way title match with with the Japanese chick, I forget her name, and the black chick Bianca Belair.
Okay. Okay, cool.
That's
Io Sky?
Is it Io Sky.
All right.
And they've been disrespecting Io Sky because they act like she just, even though Io Sky the champ, they've been disrespecting her, but Io Sky been sneaking the shit out of them. So the shit been
she definitely dropping that belt at Mania because she can't cut a promo like them.
Her promo has been pretty good.
Okay, I guess that was racist of me.
Also,
I assumed
I
the
don't
bitch
know.
was too
I don't.
Japanese to cut a promo.
I, I don't know who they gonna let win that one. They may let her keep the belt and then build a rivalry with damn, what's her name?
Belair.
Bianca
Belair
Belair.
been up there, man. Belair doing her thing. She in her prime.
No,
I like her.
I'm talking about the white chick that was with Judgment Day. I forget her name. Fuck. Damn.
The other white chicken judge. Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, Rhea Ripley. Yeah, it's Rhea
That's
Ripley.
who I was talking about. Yeah.
It's Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair come Mania. And I'm trying to hit my boy Jizzle. We gonna run it up like just like it's boxing.
Let's go.
Oh, wow.
They call it 2 days in a row.
Hey, yo, by the way, I got a soft 200 on a Saturday from this nigga wanted to bet. I don't know why. A nigga in my town right now betted what he said. He said Stanionis by stoppage. Anything else, you got it. I was like, yep, let's go. And he
Oh,
paid
but
him. So shout out to him.
listen to me.
Yeah,
I want to do that.
yeah,
Yeah, let's just keep it wrestling because that was a beat down. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, but so I want to ask you, Smoke. What did you look at more on Mondays? Was it Monday Night Raw, or Monday Night Nitro, or was it both of them?
all right. We got a little
I
bit
think I
older.
know your
Right?
answer, but go ahead. I'm interested. Go ahead. I
We
want
got
to.
a little bit older. Right? Here's the thing. Where I live in North Carolina, I don't know where y'all had it. Nitro would pop back on at 1:00 in the morning.
WCW.
Nitro would pop back on a lot so it came on
No,
at 8.
that didn't happen. Let me before you go on. No, that didn't happen out here. We did have two replays. It was 5 and 8. Go ahead.
Okay, so what I'm saying is it would pop back on. And I would watch the main events on Raw and then catch the WCW joints. But it was like just like you said, like flicking the channel back and forth because you never know when Sting was hitting a nigga with the Scorpion Death Drop. I was gonna see Stun on rock bottom. So, but I started to watch Raw more because I was like, yo, they dragging this NWO shit.
Right. It started to get hella old. I'm glad you said that. Yeah. At the beginning, it was hot as fuck. But then, yeah, when Sting in 97, when Sting would just come down from the fucking the rafters, drop a nigga with Scorpion Death Drop, clean out the ring, NWO with the bat. Hell yeah, that shit was lit. But then it got tired. They didn't know how to wrap it up. And they just kept dragging that shit. NWO 2000? Get the fuck out of here, my nigga.
Yeah, it was good times at the time. I missed both of them. For me, it did a lot for me, and it got me more into. It just got me more and more into wrestling, and then after a while, things just got different. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I mean, but
Hey, let me
it
ask a quick
happened.
question. Quick question, Clarence.
Yes,
During
sir.
that time, because I was deep in the game. Obviously, was you watching ECW as well? Because that's where we got most of our shit from that we would
You know
do in
what?
the ring.
I didn't know nothing about ECW until I think it was 96, 97. I was living.
Yeah, that's about the same time as me. That's not late.
I was living upstate New York, and I had knew about it, of course. I shouldn't have been watching it because that shit was brutal. And
It
I'm
was
sitting
beautiful. It
around
was
one day.
beautiful.
Yeah, I'm sitting around one day. I'm living upstate New York, so I'm in this place called Poughkeepsie, New York. I'm living up there, and they had the Civic Center. So I'm starting to see these flyers and posters, and ECW's coming to Poughkeepsie. Huh? Because the only thing we ever had was WWF. I said,
Right.
ECW's coming to Poughkeepsie? This got to be a joke. So I'm getting a ticket. Me and my brother, like, we going. My younger brother at this time, he probably like 9 years old. I'm 14. I only lived a couple of blocks from the Civic Center, so my father would allow me to go, you know. So I get the ticket. We go up there. Now, I don't know what to experience from ECW. The Dudleys is there, Taz, Sandman, RVD. It's a whole bunch of them. and I watched the crazy show where I watched RVD and Taz tag team to take on the Dudleys.
Okay.
Now, the craziest shit that I seen that I was not expecting to see, in ECW, they throw all types of shit in the ring. Tell me why Taz throws a microwave. Taz throws a microwave in the ring, a microwave, and hits Devon in the head with it. Now, this is a crazy story because Devon still tells the story to this day. That was never part of the plan. So when he hit Devon with it, he actually bust Devon's head wide open.
Oh shit.
Okay, that can happen too. I can speak on that. Go ahead, finish. Go ahead. You got the story. It's good. I'm in it.
The problem is Devon said after that he didn't want to work with him anymore because he said that wasn't part of the plan. He said my head is bust wide open. The fans think it's fake blood, but I'm actually bleeding. And I'm losing blood and I'm dazed, but I'm still finding a way to stay in the match. He said, yo, when we got to that dressing room, me and Bubba were going to fucking kill him.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't part of the plan. And it goes back to what we said earlier. You want to work on your own. This ain't the business for you. This ain't the business for you.
That's a fact.
Know what I'm saying? And if you look at Devon's face today, tell me what it looks like.
Like he been through
it looked like a roadmap. And
he looks like the dude from Star Trek. He looks like the black dude from Star Trek. And people say, why his face look like that? His face looked like that because he had his shit bust open.
No. I'm sorry, homie. I'm not saying your story ain't accurate about him getting bust with the microwave because they did some crazy ass shit back then. But being in the business, I gotta straighten out the story. You were talking ECW. You remember a nigga by the name of New Jack, the craziest motherfucker.
Shit.
Of course, New Jack. Oh man, the way that who was the dude that New Jack wrestled? But New Jack told the story about how the dude he wrestled, what he did to him. He was like, that shit put me out for a while. And he said, you would think I would get an apology. He said, you think I would get an apology from this guy. This guy never apologized to me.
No, because never. He had zero remorse. He almost killed 2 motherfuckers in the ring. Like hospitalized. Lawsuits, like real shit. Real shit, man.
But the crazy thing is, he said, before even doing what we were doing, I told him
3 motherfuckers, sorry.
Bad idea. Let's not do this. And the guy convinced, come on, man, let's do this. We got to do this. No, man.
You're talking about mass transit. You're talking about when he took that blade to his head. Yeah, that was one of the 3 people almost killed.
He said, don't do this. Come on, man, we got to do it. These motherfuckers want to work on their own. Like you said earlier,
I would never.
I'm sorry, homie. If 3 of us is in a wrestling match, me, you, and Smoke, if all 3 of us in the wrestling match, we're trusting each other to do right by each other. No matter how real we're trying to make it look, no matter how much we're going through. If one of us break the rules, it fucks everything up.
Yeah, because then everybody can. I give a license for everybody to go off script. But let me tell you this. The reason I brought up New Jack is because Devon did it to like a little less degree. Maybe he got like 70% of what New Jack had. But no, that wasn't from the microwave. That's from repeated what we call blading. So none of that blood you see in a wrestling ring is fake. Trust me. It's all it's not like the nigga fucking just fucked you up that bad, but you take a small razor blade, you tuck it in your trunks, in the waistband of your trunks, and then when the time is right, when he hit you with that chair shot, boom, you hit a little little slice. Preferably, I wish niggas knew this back in the day, horizontal across the forehead, because your forehead gonna get wrinkled horizontal anyways. These dudes used to do it vertical to get more blood, and that's why you see all them scars on Devon and New Jack. That's why I brought that up. But let me say this. I'm gonna land right here. Give me like 15 more seconds. I got bust open the hard way, and I still got the scar on the top of my head. called myself getting saucy. At the end of the match, I jumped off the top rope to my homie on the floor and hit a Hurricane Rana, like spinning around. If y'all can visualize what that would look like, but in the process, I hit my head on the apron on like the wooden edge of the ring, so that bust me open the hard way. That's the only time I bled. I would never blade myself. I never did that. Some of my homies did. So I understand the process. But yeah, hard way.
Yes.
It can come the hard way too.
Yeah, that's crazy. So I'm looking at the story with Cactus Jack and Triple H.
Oh, Cactus Jack. Hell no.
And that fight that they had at the Royal Rumble, I witnessed that. I was there. Royal
What
Rumble.
was it? Oh wow, that was lit, right? Last man standing. Was it? I know some kind of hardcore match. Some kind of hardcore.
Yes, I was 17 years old for that Royal Rumble, and I was there to witness it. And so Triple H says, you know, Cactus Jack picks me up, and he picks me up and he drops me, but the wood is there. So he goes, when he picks me up and drops me, there's a piece of the wood that actually goes through my leg. So it actually ripped his leg open. Now, this is why I love when they show behind scenes. So now, when everything happens and Triple H is, you know, he picks Mick Foley up and drops him when he had all them thumbtacks.
Yeah.
And all that shit goes through him. So when they get to the back, which that wasn't a part of the show, if you go back to that, he said Vince didn't want us to do that. But I did it anyway. But it made the match much greater. So now they both get back to the dressing room. Triple H can barely walk.
Whoa.
Because now his leg is busted open. He got a piece of wood stuck in his leg. Cactus Jack got these thumbtacks stuck all in his goddamn body.
Word.
I said, these dudes are not normal. But they're sitting there. They take him to the dressing room. So they're in the back of the dressing room. So now there's a guy back there stitching Triple H's leg up. And as he's stitching it, the blood is at an all-time high. And I'm like, shit. This is crazy. Now, can you imagine doing that, right? And still having to come out either the next day or later on to have to still wrestle or show up?
Or shoot a promo.
Yeah, even coming out for a promo, if you injured like that, your leg is lacerated. You feel me?
Word.
That could be, that could be straining.
That's dangerous, man. Bro. I be want to stay home, but you can't tell Vince. You know what, Vince? Because of what happened last night, I'm staying home. And you can't do it because now the next day is Monday. You got to go out for Monday Night Raw. So now, if we're not having Monday Night Raw in the same city, we got to fly to the next one. And even if we're having Monday Night Raw in the same city as we did the pay-per-view, it's the whole point of I got to come out. How do I go home? How do I go back to my motel and get sleep? Like, you know?
No, exactly right. And that's why they get on the goddamn painkillers. R.I.P. to Brian Pillman, as you were speaking on before. But I was going to say, especially when you get to that main event level, you in the main angle, the main shit that's selling all the shows, so you gotta show up. That's the pressure that people don't peep. You gotta come out and further the storyline. Yeah, I beat his ass, or yeah, I'm gonna get my revenge, whatever the fuck, whatever the case is.
You know, I forgot what wrestler that I heard say this. I'm trying to think of his name, but he said, I knew it wasn't fun anymore than me when I didn't want to travel. When I got tired of the traveling, that's when I knew it was over. Because you're going to have to travel.
I wish I could place that quote rather, but I don't know who said that, but he definitely right. I mean, I travel for work. That's exhausting. Traveling for work without getting my ass beat.
I'm trying to think of who it was that said that. That said the traveling started to get to them.
And it's like similar to it when a fighter say, yeah, I can go out there and fight, but I don't want to do no more camps. That's how I look at it.
D'Lo Brown.
Different city every week.
D'Lo Brown.
Okay.
I was watching
Shout out
something with
D-Lo.
D'Lo Brown. D'Lo Brown was in an interview on a radio station, and he said, "I knew I didn't want to do it anymore. It's not that I didn't love it anymore. It's just that it got to a point where the traveling started to become a little too much because I started seeing a lot of these guys in the dressing room more than I was seeing my own people."
Word
Yeah.
up.
Yo. And I'm sure that it wasn't only the travel for D'Lo, but you were talking about injuries earlier. He was the one that unfortunately was in there with draws and got him paralyzed. So I'm sure that weighed on him too. I wouldn't want to wrestle no more if I paralyzed a nigga. Come
You
on.
know who else too? Another guy you want to see his career blossom, but he hit a bumpy road with Savio Vega.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
Savio was one of the great ones. He was good to me, but it was, hey, everybody is just not. Listen, it's two ways to get out of the sport: to either injure yourself where there's no coming back from it, or doing some shit that you ain't supposed to do.
I think Savio Vega was before his time.
Yeah.
Before his time? Okay.
Yeah.
He was I'll say this from an inside perspective, he was a great hand. Like he could work real well, but he was never hella popular with the crowd. I mean, they pulled him in. Remember when Shawn Michaels was injured, No Way Out, the show before WrestleMania 98, before he went up with Austin, he was the replacement. So obviously they knew he was a great worker, could put on a good match, but he wasn't over like that. And they brought him in. They brought him in as Razor Ramon's homie, and that was his best shot. But once that didn't go, and once Razor left, then he was kind of dead in the water. They gave him his little faction. Shout out to Los Boricuas, but no, he never quite got to that level he wanted to get to.
And it shows you, right? You have to pull your weight.
He's better
and
than
you have to really want it. Because let me tell you something, it's very easy, right? Hey, all right, we're gonna sign you, or we're gonna give you a try. But if you ain't putting no asses in seats, or if you don't go out there and live up to what you're supposed to, you're gone. And that's like any job in America. Any job is gonna tell you that. They'll give you a try. But when you're sitting here performing in front of the world and you can't live up to what you're supposed to, you're going to get your walking papers. And I think that that's fair. You know, see, if you had a wrestling company right now, and people are not living up to what they're supposed to be, you're going to be right there to give them their walking papers.
Of course, man. It's all business.
It's all business because at the end of the day, Rich, you still have to take care of things yourself. So I'm not letting you go to be an asshole, but asses and seats mean something. It means
Clarence,
something.
let me ask you this real quick. Not to interject, not to cut you off.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been behind the scenes of promoting or throwing, for lack of a better word, a boxing event? Because I want to compare that to a wrestling show, because I have done that. So you know all the ins and outs?
Bits and pieces. I've talked to some people who are in that department. So I know a little something about it where if I wanted to do it, I could say, you know what? Okay, I can do it if I want to go and do it. But there's a lot of things I'm still learning. So yeah, I know bits and pieces about it though.
2028, we gonna have a no duck. 2028, we gonna have a no duck zone goddamn fight card.
I'm with
it. To be honest with you, it's funny you say that, man, because somebody came to me. People have been coming to me the last 2 years about it, and they go,
"Oh man, you the underground king, man. They don't know you, but you always
no,
there."
But they said, would you be considered on doing that? And I said, if I did it, it wouldn't be professional. It would only be for the amateurs because that's my lane. I always look for the up and coming. Like I have plans to come. I have plans. You know what, Rich? Me and you gonna see each other probably either before 3 years or in 3 years, because when they have the 2028 Olympics out there, I'm planning on coming to California. So it's already Me and my wife already said there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm definitely coming in. But yeah, I mean, I think about that and I go, yeah, one day when it's my time, I'll definitely do it. But I know enough about it where I can say, you know what, I know about the promoting, I know about matchmaking. So if I wanted to do it, I can go ahead and do it. But I don't think a lot of people know the ins and outs of it. Brother Rich, would you please explain to the people who might think they know about the ins and outs of putting on the show?
Okay. Yeah. Gladly. Now, and granted, this shit happened, over 20 years ago. So I might leave out one or two things, but basically, now this shit. Oh, real quick. I gotta give a shout out to VCW,
Yeah,
1999. We used to put our shit on y'all remember public access television? We used to have all our shows on there, so we was like local celebrities. Everybody at our high school, all the
yeah,
high schools across town knew us. But no, let me answer your question. Now,
yeah,
we put on a VCW show at a community center. Obviously, we got to get the permission from the venue. That goes without saying. Then you put that down payment on the venue, and obviously follow up depending on ticket sales later. So it was like I want to say per diem, but like how many motherfuckers show up, you gotta cash them out. Cool. All right. Now we got medical insurance off top. With shit, we was teenagers. This shit was like 10,000 wow. So thankfully, one of the parents helped us with that. Then you got to have the paramedics on deck in case some shit goes wrong, in case someone go into business for themselves.
yeah.
Shit, I'm trying to think anything else. Security guards and the ticket takers. A lot of overhead. That's all I can think off the top of my head. But it's way more involved than motherfuckers just showing up and climbing in a ring and doing some shit. Now, let me say this real quick before you follow up, Clarence. I have been to another type of show where it was the Latinos out in the park and they just set up the ring and it wasn't shit. So I also done that type of show. But to do it the right way, you need everything I mentioned before.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot that comes with that, man. People talk to me all the time. When you gonna do a show? I'm like, right now, I'm just focusing on being the content creator. I'm also positioning myself to do other things, but right now, to do a show, you gotta pay to play.
Yeah,
If you
I keep
can't pay
telling
to,
these dudes
if you
that,
can't pay,
man.
if you can't pay to play, mind your business and stay in your lane. There's
Keep
nothing
trying to
free.
tell people that shit, man.
You're
I
going to
keep.
pay the doctors. You're going to pay the judges. You're going to pay to get the ring put up. If there's not a ring inside wherever you're doing, if you're doing a fight inside of a gym where there's a ring already, okay. But if you're going to a boys and girls club or any type of community or school where a ring got to be put up, sir, you are paying for that. So a lot of people don't understand. Rather if it's wrestling, boxing, you are going to pay to play. It's that simple. And if you don't make any of your money back, you're going to be pretty much screwed. So you can't just go out there
Yeah,
and blow
it's a
twenty
risk.
thousand. You can't blow 20,000 or 50,000 and just say, "Oh, well, it's all right. I'll get it back." Unless you got it like that, I don't know. Nobody's just trying to blow that kind of money and say, "Oh, don't worry about it. There's 350 people in here. I'll make that back." Shit, you can't make it back the next day. You supposed to make it back that night, that day. So,
No, it's definitely a risk to even, and that's why promoters, and I understand it, be scared to even dip their toes in because, man, you got to recoup. You got to recoup.
yeah,
That's the word of the
yeah.
day. Recoup.
People don't understand that, but you can't. Listen. Check this out, right? You can't expect people to understand that if they don't have that kind of business mind. This is why we live in a world where we have to deal with people who think like us. If somebody don't think like you and they act like they know and they act like they know what they talk about, that ain't the people that you be around because those are the people that they can't teach you shit about business. They can't teach you nothing. I don't care how much they sound like they know what they talking about. You can't teach me shit. If
This nigga.
you can't do that to me. Don't talk to me like I'm a fucking idiot. Like a dude told me one day, hey, you know what? I could give you some great ideas with no Doug Zone. Man, if you don't get the fuck out of my face, I'll slap you 2 times and then drop kick you 3 times. You
That's the
got
wrong way to even fucking approach me. You should
First
be
of
like,
all, that's the wrong way to even start a conversation with me,
back to
bro.
life. You
Who
should have
you
approached
talking
me
to?
wrong about my brand that I've been building. What you should say is, hey, you ever think of or you ever try this? That's the way. Because this
I'd
is
rather
my
you do.
shit.
I'd rather you do that. I'd rather you do that.
I pay for this, homie. I pay for this, homie. Like, I keep trying to
Because
tell people,
let me tell you,
hey,
I
man,
put my all, I put my soul and my heart
I keep
into
trying to
my
tell you,
brand,
motherfuckers, bro.
and if it wasn't for people coming on my lives and dealing with me, the fighters, the coaches, I wouldn't know what I would do. But I put my heart and soul into what I do. Just like having this wrestling conversation, this is something simple, bro. To get away from all this other boxing shit, we need a break from this sometime. So now, when we talk about wrestling, the first thing you do is you go back to your childhood and you start thinking about what you were doing when you
Junkyard
first saw
Dog,
Stone Cold coming to wrestling. What were you doing the
all
first
of
time
them.
you saw Sting? What was the
Which
first time
thing?
you? Yeah, when you saw Harlem Heat won the tag team championships, where were you?
Oh,
I
you know
was
You
that
sitting
shit
saw.
there.
was lit.
Oh, I know where I was. Hold
I
on.
was. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was at my homeboy Nico crib. We was watching it, and I was drinking Wild Hours Rose as a
I got
teenager.
a better. I got a better one for you. Where were you when Ron Simmons beat Vader and became a champion?
See,
When black champions was really a popular thing like that back then.
I was sitting Indian
I,
style. I was sitting Indian style
this
on the
nigga,
living room floor.
He said, "I was in Indian style." Yo,
When
Smoke
Ron
is
he
a
painted
Simmons
a
beast.
beat him,
picture.
bro. Okay,
He
I'm
painted a picture.
44.
Holy shit.
I'm 44 when Ron Simmons beat him. I hold it like, come on, bro.
Yeah, I
Said
remember
I
when
was
Ron
sitting
Simmons beat
Indian
Vader.
style, eating a cherry fruit roll up. I remember the flavor, and then had my sister on the side of me. This nigga going,
Like
I
there's
yeah,
had
he
a
put
certain
cherry
himself
things.
back
fruit
there.
roll up. I had a
Listen,
cherry wine soda. You don't
there's
know about
certain
that?
things. There's
I had
just
a
certain
cherry
things.
wine soda. You know what I'm
There's
saying?
certain
Hell
things I
no.
just remember, but a lot of people don't understand the business of that, and that's why I made a post where I was like, you can't just tell me whatever and expect me to believe it, bro. Like
No,
you
you
got to
cannot.
remember who you talking to. I put my heart and soul Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday into what I do, and this is why I could come and talk wrestling because this is what I grew up watching.
You can talk
I'm a
whatever you
real
want,
fan of
bro.
this shit.
Facts.
You
I
can talk
just
whatever
told
you
y'all
want.
how I snuck into the restaurant that they used to have in Times Square. I used to sneak into
What
that
they call
restaurant.
it? It was WWF. Fuck, I remember
It
the
was
name of New York.
it was,
WWF New York.
it was WWF New York.
Yeah.
You had to pay to get in there. You know what I was
Right.
doing? I was going to the bathroom, acting like I was there already. I will go stall and wait, come back out, go in. Somebody stop me. Hey, my family's in there already. I would wait for a family to walk in, right? And I would just say something to them and act like I'm with them,
Yo,
right?
that
Go
is.
use, go use the bathroom and come out. You with them? Yeah, I'm with the people that just went in. Did you see me when I came in? Oh yeah, that's right. You are.
That's some New York shit.
No,
And then
that
I
is some
go
City
first
sit.
boy
And then,
class.
shit right there. That's some
wait,
city
check
That
boy
is
this.
some
shit.
And
first
then,
class nigga shit. I admire
Rich,
the finesse, but that's nigga
Rich,
shit.
I did it. Rich, I did it so much. You would think they got familiar with my face, but every time I came, I
Oh
had a
man.
different look. One minute I had my hair braided, and the next minute my hair was in a ponytail. I would do it all the time. And I
Hey,
would meet the wrestlers. I would meet the wrestlers every time they came. Stone Cold, I met Big Show, I met all of them. I
Damn.
swindled. I finessed my way.
all the
I
way into
finessed
it.
my way in it. Hey, listen, man.
Publicity
One thing,
stunts.
let me tell you
You're working
something, man.
publicity stunts.
I'm gonna be real with you, and I don't want people to feel offended when I say this because people gonna say you wrong. But when you come from where we come from, and not just New York, but when you come from a place like New York and California, you know how to swindle your way into shit.
No, that's true.
We, we
Hey, look,
swindlers.
Midnight.
We know,
hey, look,
listen,
hey, look. I tell you this. Me
we
come from
gonna get
North
our way in that
Carolina.
door.
Me coming from North Carolina when I came to New York. You better figure it out quick, or you won't survive, nigga.
Yeah.
And you know what? And that's okay to say that. You know why it's okay to say that? Because it's true. But I feel like it's anywhere you go, but you're going to have to find out quick because one thing you don't want to do is be left out on the action. You don't want to be left out.
That's a fact.
You don't want to be left out. So I learned how to do all that at a young age where I said, okay, I want to be a part of this. I'm going to get in here. And I did that to the day that the place closed.
Hey, hey,
I
hey,
did it.
hey, Clarence and CJ,
Yes,
you
sir.
don't know this, bro. I've been in Suffolk County since I've been up here 20 plus years. I can say wholeheartedly, can't nobody challenge me. I had on Suffolk County, I had the first "You Can't Feel My Face" mixtape.
Yeah,
The ab on
yeah.
the rag. I'm when the ab was really the ab, yeah. Before they killed it, yeah. I caught some of that. I caught everybody trying to let me hold the CD. No,
Nah, man, we ain't with
no,
all
you
that.
can't get it. You can't. You better
Hey,
go over
Pop,
there and get it. Where you go and get it
Pop.
from? They got it from right there. They don't got no more. Hey man, what's that shit from? No, my brother. You got to buy your bro. Listen to me, DJ. You don't understand. C-Mac understand. That mixtape, I Can't Feel My Face, Lil Wayne, Joel Santana at the time, the original shit,
Yeah, that was different.
it was different.
It was
I'm on
different.
Suffolk County. I'm riding all through Suffolk County, bumping that shit. I'm making copies for niggas here, man. I make you a copy. Leave me
Yeah,
alone.
that was different for us here, even in the Big Apple. That was it was different for us. It did something to our souls for that. But you know, when you look at this whole bloodline of wrestling that we talked about, and oh God, these black guys know a lot. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Because we grew up. SummerSlam 1991. SummerSlam 91 was my first match. First one. And I could break that whole card down and explain, and I could tell you everybody that was on that card, not from watching it, but from actually being there. Going to WrestleMania in 94 at the Garden. Going to the Survivor Series 2 years later in 96.
Wait, Mania 94. Okay, yes. Let's talk about this.
Oh
Because
man.
who
Oh
stole the
man.
show.
Man,
It
listen.
was how would
Let
he
me
say?
tell you
Hold on,
something.
let me get my voice ready. Hold on, real quick. Let me get my voice ready. It
Yeah.
was it was the Heartbreak Kid versus
Yo,
Razor Ramon
the
in the
ladder match
ladder
was
match
crazy.
for
The
the
ladder match was crazy.
Intercontinental title.
The ladder match was crazy, man. The ladder match was crazy. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot. You had Lex Luger and Bret Hart going to WrestleMania. That shit that happened
Oh
at the Royal
goodness, yeah, that
Rumble,
like
that
with the
was
three with
crazy.
Yokozuna. Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. How it all played out. Going to Survivor Series 2 years later when The Rock made his debut, it was a lot. 2 years later after that, I'm at SummerSlam, Highway to Hell.
Yo, they love Madison Square Garden, don't they? I didn't realize how many big shows was out there. You
Man, let
got
me
it.
tell you something.
It's the
Let me
Mecca
tell you
when it
something.
comes
They
to
did so much.
WWE.
They
It
do.
really is. It really is.
They had a great relation. They still have. Let me say they had. They've been having a great relationship with the Garden for years, since
It's
Hogan
the,
and probably even before his time.
it's their
They've had a
Mecca.
great
It's their
relationship with them.
Mecca. It's their Mecca.
It's the Mecca.
It's the Mecca when it
That's
comes to
just like
WWE.
when you look at certain boxing promotion companies. They have a great relationship. And then you go, yo, for the last 30 something years, 40 something years, they've had a relationship. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's some certain shit makes sense where you like, you know what I mean? But I've always been a wrestling fan. Sometimes I might glance at it today, but then a lot of times I go back to the old school wrestling. I go back to it sometime on my YouTube, and I'll be like, "Yo, man, I gotta watch this because it just brings back memories, and it reminds me of what I was doing at the time." But the one thing that I wanted, even though they did the Invasion pay-per-view, to me that didn't move me. What I wanted to see in the 90s was WWF before WWE.
Right.
I wanted to see them in WCW in the pay-per-view.
Yeah, the real shit like a Stone Cold Goldberg, the big stars going at it. Yeah, the invasion, the whole invasion was whack, man.
I wanted to see freaking Shawn Michaels against one of their best guys over there.
Yeah, who would have been a good? I'm gonna think about that. Go on, but I'm gonna think about who would have been a good match for Shawn Michaels during that era. You got it.
Oh,
let me ask you this, Matt. Let me ask you this, because
yes, sir.
Who
DDP
today? Who do you fuck with now in wrestling?
That's a good question.
Well, I ain't gonna lie to you, dog. This might sound crazy to y'all, and I can't name them, but I fuck with a lot of the women. Not because they women. I mess with them because they hella athletic. These women today are a little more athletic. And no disrespect to Lita and all the other women we seen, but these women today, they cut different. You got these women today body slamming the hell out the dudes. And the only one that we seen back then at the time doing it was China. These women today are athletic like a mother, but it's a lot of the women that I watch that I like. And they letting a lot of more of our sisters in too, if you know what I mean when I say sisters. They letting a lot
of definitely do, and I'm actually hella surprised by that. I didn't know. I don't know if that was Vince just having a thing for black women, but no, all of a sudden the floodgates opened up. They're letting they're letting the sisters shine, man. It started with like Sasha Banks.
They letting Shanae from 4D come in. It's crazy.
It started with Sasha Banks, and now they're letting even the dark skinned sisters come through and do their thing. Naomi had her time. Bianca doing it. So yeah, I'm happy about that.
Yo, the one Jade Cargill.
Oh, she built.
Listen, they just as talented as the dudes, but a lot of times when I need some old school wrestling, I'm not gonna lie to you. I keep going back to the 90s and the 80s because it just gives me that feel good. Like I was watching, so I'm gonna tell you real quick before I get off. I was watching this old WrestleMania where it was Hulk Hogan getting beat up by, at the time, Sid Justice and Papa Shango. And who comes out and saves him?
Okay, that's 8. I'm sorry. That's 8. That's 8.
Yes. So, and the Ultimate Warrior comes out and saves him. Right. I just thought it was classic.
It was good, even though technically it was. I ain't gonna ruin it for you. Technically, the finish was fucked up, but no, that is a classic WrestleMania moment because those were the two dudes.
It was the two dudes, man. And I remember the first time I went to see Papa Shango wrestle. He wrestled the Undertaker. Now, if it wasn't two scary dudes to be afraid of, it was those dudes.
Hell no.
Especially
at that time as a kid.
You know what's so crazy? Them niggas best friends.
Yeah, they.
Oh
cool.
Yeah. They was in the same clique.
Papa Shango was also the Godfather.
Yeah, remember they came from them dudes used to go on tour together back in the days, so they already knew.
No, that's what I'm saying. That they had the same. That was in the same crew. I know you're trying to wrap it up, but so Shawn Michaels.
No, what I was gonna,
hold on, man.
Go ahead.
I know this part. Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and then the Kid. 1, 2, 3 Kid. Sean Waltman was the clique in WWF.
And Triple
H. Since they had so much power.
Triple H.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hey, you're right. Thank you. But since they had so much power, the Undertaker had put together his own crew, BSK. I forget what it stands for, but that was definitely the two heads of it was Undertaker and Godfather. Papa Shango. I think they had like niggas like Crush Crush was in there, some other niggas,
Crush.
but yeah, they had to. It was like a political thing backstage
Oh, who was
because
the Spanish nigga y'all just talking about? That I said
Savio.
Huh?
Savio was in there too. That's how I know Savio.
Savio was in BSK too. Thank you. Savio was in BSK too. Yep.
Fact. Savio
Yeah.
wasn't no bitch.
Yeah, it's was seeing Papa Shango and Undertaker to me was like it was just something different about him. And I remember the first time.
Magical, literally. He said it was magical. Hell yeah, man.
Listen, the first time I went to see them dudes wrestle, I was like, I didn't like it. I thought I would be excited. I said, I don't know who I need to be more scared of.
And it was too much evil. It was too much evil for
not only that,
young
so when Papa Shango came to the ring, my father, we had front row seats, which it was dope. So as he's coming, first of all, this dude is big as shit. And
they don't know. He like 6'7".
6'7", 6'8". And not only that, the smoke that was coming out, I could actually smell what he had. So I'm like, that made me more scared. And my little brother,
was it that Cali Kush?
I don't know what that shit was. But that
I'm
shit,
just fucking with you, champ.
Listen, my brother was scared and he's crying, and I'm looking at him like, yo, calm down, it's not real. So the closer that Papa Sunday got, he freaked out.
Yeah.
So now it's time for the Undertaker to come out. Oh, he really lost his mind. The Undertaker came out, you know how he is. Seeing Undertaker, he's another big dude, 6'10", 6'11". So seeing him didn't make it no better. And I'm like, yo, bro, you can't be scared of both of them. Like, god damn, you're gonna have to root for one of them. You know what I'm saying? And Undertaker ended up winning that match, which it was crazy. He whooped Papa Shango ass that night. But then the crazy thing about it is we get outside the garden, and you know how you wait for the fighters to come out, you wait for them to come out.
Come out the tunnel, yeah.
Now tell me why. This is when I should have knew that they were friends then. They both come out the tunnel together.
At the same time.
At the same time, and they're standing there talking, and I couldn't tell if it was him or not, because I'm used to the makeup. But I could see Taker, and I could see him, but they're talking. They didn't come all the way outside. They're still inside, but you can see them. And, they're giving each other a hug. But then I noticed in both of their hands, they both got beer, a bottle of beer in their hands.
Oh, man.
So I guess they noticed that the fans was outside, so they drink it. Taker comes out, but Taker just looks at people and waves, and he gets in, and Papa Shango came and he ended up signing autographs and all. But even when he walked up, I said, Jesus Christ, this dude looks like a walking building.
Yeah, he was
man. Okay, so he's not quite as tall as Taker, but he's more built, like wider. You feel me? More.
Yeah, he's like 6'7", 280. He's like 6'7", 280.
Let me tell you something. I met the Big Show when he came to the WWE restaurant, and when I went to shake his hand, he was sitting down. That man could have digested my whole goddamn body just by his hand. I said, Jesus Christ.
Oh, man.
He could have digested my whole body.
It's going to sound stupid as hell, but you did shake his hand physically? You did?
You know what? You might as well just say that he was shaking my foot.
Okay. I only ask this because niggas have said that, like, on TV, his hand looks small for his body, but his hand is big, like, objectively, right? His hand is big.
Yeah. Well, I thought that until I seen him take a picture with this kid. He put the kid on his shoulder. He went to ball his fist. I said, let me tell you something. If that man punch you, he going to punch you to heaven. I ain't dealing with that dude. Hell no. And then I met Kane, and I was like, yeah, you dudes is, you 7'2", 6'10", 6'11" dudes. I'm not dealing with y'all. I'm not dealing with y'all. It don't make no sense for y'all to be that damn big.
You met all the big niggas. It sound like I wish I had the opportunity, man. I got a couple.
You know what? I think the most littlest dude that I've ever met was probably the British Bulldog. But the Bulldog was different because he was cut Like he was ripped.
Right.
Bulldog had no neck.
I used to like him.
Like that dude looked like he was strong. He was strong. Like
Yeah,
you know
like
what I
power
mean?
lifter strong.
Power
That's why he
lifter
had the power
strong.
slam. The power
Man,
slam was the
listen,
finisher.
I'm sorry that we lost him because he was one of the great ones. He was really
Yeah.
one of the great ones. I felt like he got cheated out his career because once he cut his hair and he started wearing tight jeans, I said it's over.
Hold on, hold on, nigga.
And I'm
Okay,
not
so you
talking
say
about. Yeah, I'm
I
not
gotta get
making
this
it.
straight. Hold on.
Yeah,
I gotta
yeah,
get this straight before we log off. You saying
yeah.
once the British bulldog cut off the braids and the long tights with the what they call it, the jack, whatever, the Union Jack, that English flag, right?
Yeah.
You saying that was his peak when he was feuding with Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, and then after that he came
Yeah,
back
after
and he
that,
fell off. He had a buzz
after,
cut and some fucking
yeah.
cut off shorts, and it wasn't it.
I didn't like it because I was trying to figure out, okay, like you remember when him and Lex Luger
Oh man.
became tag team when him and Lex Luger became tag team partners, I thought it was great.
United Powers, United Nations, United Powers, something like that.
You said you got two strong ass dudes. This is gonna be
Well,
great.
motherfuckers, yeah.
These dudes
Yeah,
together.
how could you ever beat them? How could
How
fucking
you gonna beat
Tatanka and
them?
1-2-3 Kid ever beat the United Powers?
I said you're not gonna beat these dudes, and then it didn't work. Whatever happened, you know what I'm saying? It didn't work. Lex ended up going, to back to WCW. I've been going to WCW at the time. I mean, shit happens, but the Monday Night Wars was necessary. They were with two big networks, USA Network and TNT were big, and just to see that wrestling was on that was major. Because nobody believed that wrestling was gonna last. Nobody
No,
believed it.
no, especially after it fell off after the initial Hulk Hogan era. There was like, okay, that was the peak. Now people know it's fake. It can never come back.
Yeah,
But
when Hogan left
lo and behold,
WWF,
nigga, the late '90s, the shit was lit.
when Hogan left WWF, the first thing I said was, "Oh shit,
It's over.
close the doors to WWF. Close the doors." Because not only he left, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash left. Then you
Before
start
that,
seeing.
before that, Macho.
Then you
Before
started
even
seeing
Nash and Hall, Macho.
Yes. So when that happened, and then in '96, when the fucking Warrior ended up over there, I said, "Oh, we're done. We're done. Close the doors to WWF. It's over. Close the doors." But what we didn't know what was happening, it was a new era coming, a new attitude era. And if we didn't have DX doing what they were doing and Stone Cold doing what he was doing in The Rock, it would have been quiet. Because let's just be honest, gentlemen. You tuned into WCW to see what NWO, who asked they was going to kick. You turned into WWF to see what DX was going to do. You had two popping ass groups that you didn't know what they was going to do. You
I'll say
just
this.
didn't know.
I'll say this. If you didn't get detention at the minimum for doing the DX sucker shit, you're not a real wrestling fan.
You
I ain't gonna
stupid
hold
as
you. I got suspended 2 days for that. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it real with you. My teacher put me out because I was talking, and I waited till when I got outside the hallway. She was getting ready to close the door, and I said, "Suck it."
Okay.
Yeah, that shit got me 2 days. I got my ass beat for about 2 weeks.
I got detention for that. Teacher was like saying some shit. I was just like, huh? He was like, what you gonna do about it? I was like, what'd you say? He was like, I said, I was just like, suck it. I didn't know any shit.
But on a serious note, do y'all know they got threatened by the government?
Yeah.
They didn't.
For what?
All that stuff that they was doing was real. When they got letters, when the WWF got letters, that was real. They were trying to shut that DX shit down. They didn't want all that sucking on the network and all. They didn't want all that. They were trying to shut it down.
Okay. Yes, you exactly right. And that's why it was a joke. It was like an inside joke, which is fucking stupid as hell. But that's why they changed the Godfather to the Good Father and had him join. What was that? Right to Censor.
Yeah,
Right to
Yeah.
Censor, because they was making fun of all them groups that was trying to come down on him.
because
You
he
feel
was
me? And
picking
trying to regulate
hoes.
the shit.
Yo, when he did
What's
the
that?
whole Godfather thing, I'm not gonna lie to you. I said, "Oh Jesus Christ, where the hell is
No,
this going?"
Godfather was lit, man. I seen him
No, it was
live, man.
lit,
I
but
seen
I
him.
was trying to
I seen him in
understand.
Sacramento. I seen him in UC Davis. That shit
No,
was
but
the like.
I was trying to
He
understand
almost got
because
like, I wouldn't say a stone cold. Hold on. I wouldn't say a stone cold pop, but like right under that, man. Niggas was really feeling that.
I was trying to understand. Okay, where are we going with this? Because characters change. Sometimes Vince comes to
Nah,
you. Sometimes
you
Vince
can't
comes to
go
you.
Godfather to Good Father. There ain't no evolution after that. You
Listen,
done. You done.
sometimes Vince might come to you with this idea, and Vince will try to convince you to do it. Now you might tell Vince, "Nah, man, I don't," but some way he finds a way to convince you to do it. Some
Well, it
characters,
does depend. Let me say it depends on how high up you are on the card, because he let Shawn Michaels do whatever. But with a character like Godfather, he was like, "Yeah, you over, but you ain't my main eventer,"
you
and they
know
coming
why?
down on us. So
Because
we got to switch it up.
Sean made it work, and there was things that Sean could get away with that everybody else couldn't get away with. And Triple H
Oh,
said
most
that.
definitely.
He said there were certain things that Sean could do that everybody else couldn't run and do. There were certain things Stone Cold can do that everybody couldn't do. That putting up the
Yes.
middle finger, they could easily wrote a letter to WWE. Hey, we don't want him putting up the middle finger. We don't want him out
Shit,
Everybody
there
there was.
drinks
drinking. We
beer.
don't want him out there drinking beers every week. We're trying to. These are kids watching
Everybody
this show.
drinks beer. That's all you got to
They was
say.
selling. They started selling the foam middle fingers at the shows, and not by '98, that shit was lit.
Yeah, man.
Dropping the middle finger and drinking a beer is the most American thing in the world.
But they could have easily been on some bull with it. It's certain players that can get away with certain shit.
Yeah, you
Now,
got to
you
be.
know what I'm
Yeah, to
saying?
your point, you got to be that dude. You got to be that
You
dude.
gotta be that dude. This is what, and people don't understand. This is what separate the men from the boys. Yeah, I do this, but that don't mean you can.
Right.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just what made. That's what makes the sport of boxing and sport of wrestling so great. Because it's like, hey, you got to be the man to do this. You can't do what I do, and we'll never see that again. There's certain guys that can. There's certain wrestlers that's been retired that can come back and still do it.
I can
Ain't
tell you
nobody
And I
right
hope
now,
gonna
they
say
don't.
that.
the
I
Stone
wrestler
hope
that
they
Cold is
don't.
no. I'm not talking about wrestling. I'm talking about Stone Cold can still walk into a venue and flip up a middle finger and drink all the beer he want. Rock can still
Hey,
come in
check
there and
this
rap
out.
about.
Check this
He
out.
can still rap
I
bottom
got
your
not to cut
ass.
you off. Not to cut you off, but I got heavy rumors that he will be at this next WrestleMania. Heavy rumors.
I'm not surprised because
Why not? Why not?
when him and Rock came back and they didn't come back to wrestle, they came back to do a promo at the event.
Exactly. Even that,
It was
even the
much.
appearance is
It,
enough.
it
Yeah.
was much. It was much needed because when you hear that glass break, oh, you know what time it is. When you hear, when you see the Rock coming, even whether Rock is a good guy or a bad guy, you still want to see him. When you hear Triple H come and you hear that it's time to play the game, you're gonna get your ass up off your seat. You're gonna get up. You understand? It's a lot of them that still got that effect today that they had 25 years ago. Everybody
Yeah,
don't
but
have it.
only, hey,
Yeah.
only the motherfuckers that had it 25 years ago. That's the problem. They are not creating new stars. Reigns was the closest they came, and he was a good heel. Once they finally fucking turned him heel, he was good. But now,
yeah,
he
too
in
late.
doing the oo-wop, kind of in hiatus. They got Cody Rhodes as the top baby face. But these niggas don't inspire that visceral reaction from the crowd. Like, yeah, I want to see him. Even if I hate him, I want to see what he's going to say. They don't inspire that in the crowd anymore, and that's what's missing. And maybe I'm just old, and maybe the young dudes do see it like that. But from my perspective, that's what's missing.
I mean,
But it'll
that's
never go
we
back.
gonna
It'll
find
never
out.
go back to what it used to be because times have changed, but I can say these guys today, from what I see, are hella talented. They might not be everybody's favorite like the guys we know, but you still got some people who still say, you know what, I'll pay to see him or her. I don't give a damn if the universe don't know who she or he is. And
Well,
that's the
shit, I
great
hope
thing.
so.
That's the great thing about the sport because it'll never die. You might get upset because you don't know who you're watching, but the sport will never die. And I'm hoping we get more and more people who go try out for it, man. Go ahead and go do it, man. You know, just be sure you want to do it.
Hey,
Be
yo,
sure.
These Gen Zs and these alphas ain't built for that. Like I said, it's a hard toll. Trust
Yes, it
me.
is.
They won't
Yes,
even
it
get
is.
through the school, man. 99%. They ain't military fit. What the research say, like these niggas ain't military fit. I ain't saying it's military, but it's kind of the same thing. You ain't physically and mentally fit to go through some shit that arduous, man.
Yeah,
You ain't grinding it out.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Um, let me ask you guys. Let me
Okay.
ask you guys something. What is your greatest wrestling memory? I want to start with you, C.
No. I'm gonna need a minute because that's a heavy question. I got so many. Pop, please,
All
please answer what
right,
I'm thinking.
Smoke. What's your greatest wrestling memory that you can remember? As a kid.
Okay, I got it.
Go ahead. He might be in the middle of something.
Okay, I'm good. Yeah. It's gonna be HBK, WrestleMania 12, coming down on the fucking what do you call it? The zip line. You dig? Yeah, the entrance. I really
Classic.
wanted to be that nigga back then, bro. Because let me tell you this,
Classic.
man. He was right. He was a heartbreak kid, right? And he had used to come out. Obviously, I told you I started with the Rocker, so even before that. But then he was the heartbreak kid, fucking with Sensational Sherry, right? And then he transitioned right before that when he turned to a good guy again. So the reason that I fuck with that memory is because I used to I used to fancy myself a ladies man. You dig? So I wanted to be fucking Shawn Michaels. He had the ladies, and that's what I was about. And he wrestled like I wanted to wrestle, and eventually ended up wrestling like that. You know, doing the moonsaults and the kicks and all that. So yeah, WrestleMania 12, Shawn Michaels entrance and that victory after the fucking the controversial this match has been ordered to continue. I could go on, but you got it.
Yeah.
How about you?
I would always. I
Before
would
we're
always
waiting for
say.
Pop.
I would always say my first wrestling
Go
event.
ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead, Pop.
I was gonna say this before I get up out of here real quick. At the time, because we talking about WCW and WWE, here's the
So
all-time
you go into
question.
attitude. I went a little. I'm sorry to cut you off. I went a little before that, but you talking attitude. Yeah, I'm interested. Please tell
I'm
me.
talking. Here we go. I'm talking peak for peak. Undertaker versus Crow Sting. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Damn. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go to bed on that one. Yeah.
My bad. You know what I'm saying? But
Damn.
bro,
I'm
you
gonna have to.
know if
I'm
you're a
gonna have
wrestling
to.
fan,
I'm
that
gonna
was
have to go
just
to bed
like
on that one. Yeah, you
No,
pretty
I'm
much
sorry,
said.
Pop. I'm sorry. Maybe my shit cut out. Undertaker versus who?
Undertaker, peak Undertaker
Yeah.
versus the peak Crow Sting. And I'll leave it at that. And I'll see y'all later, man. Yo,
Yo,
Matt,
you
great,
stupid. Come
great
on. No,
content,
Pop.
man.
That
I
ain't
love
real.
it. Oh, I love it,
That
Matt.
ain't real.
Yeah, man. Listen, I appreciate y'all for coming up here rocking with me. Thank y'all, man,
For
for
sure.
taking this time with me. And we're gonna do more like this when I get a chance. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to my man Smoke Session. Go subscribe to him. Shout out to my man CJ Rich, man. I appreciate y'all. Of course, I'll be back tomorrow morning with morning chop up, 7:30 a.m. Y'all be over there. God bless y'all. Y'all have a good night. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. You know what it is. It's the No Duck Zone podcast. Let's go.